our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday.
We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health,
someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about the viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment. Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good morning, Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good morning, Kenya. Every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
To start your morning right here on KBC Channel 1. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya, today being the 5th of May 2026. Karibu niseme August. We are glad that you're watching KBC. Remember, you can be part of every conversation that is happening right here. We are at KBC Channel 1 on all our social media platforms. You can also check our website. That is www.kbc.co.ke to get more on whatever is happening and get informed on events as they unfold. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya. Today, a lot has been prepared in store for you. And today, we'll be having two conversations. One which will be centered on advancing the development of value chain, given that the Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis are holding their 9th annual regional conference, and we shall be talking about that later with Dr. Elda Onsomo, who is the executive director at KIPRE. Later on, we'll be having a conversation on matters health, and today we'll be focusing on immunization, financing, and policy, and I'll be having that conversation with Alan Miheso, who is a program officer at Health NGOs Network. That conversation will be coming to you at around 9 a.m. So I implore you to tune in to this live broadcast. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
So far, so good. Great to be back. Good morning. Welcome to the program. Of course, it's going to be a very busy day ahead, so we wish you all the best. Karibu sana to the program. My name is Victor Lo. Now, let's talk about politics and policy making. Wanjiku, you know that you have the power that is as per the Article 1 of the Constitution. And politicians wield that power on your behalf. So today I want us to talk about politics and policy making. How does it affect you? Because you know that policy making is one of the non-linear cycle where issues are discussed, they are implemented, but now there is always a disconnect between the whole aspect when it starts to the stage where an idea is given, a starting point, and the real implementation. That's where there's a disconnect. So let's talk about that. And how are you supposed to be part and parcel of that process? Are you part of it, or you are left behind? Remember, the Constitution protects you as Onjiko. This is very important because we are headed to the elections, and so you want to be part and parcel of this process. I'll be joined by three gentlemen. I'll be joined by Shadrach Wamboi, who is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I'll also be joined by Karisa Nzai. He's a political analyst, also Professor Fred Gola, LDP presidential aspirant 2027. The three wise men will be here at exactly 7. Everton, thank you very much. Everton, thank you, thank you, thank you. You did the Lord's work while Arsenal tulikuwa tumelala too. You did a good job. Thank you, Everton. Marie. Marie.
Good morning, Victor. Did you have to throw Arsenal there?
Good morning. Everton did the Lord's work. Hey, 3-3.
So what happened? Because I'm behind news.
So we were leading. Arsenal, until yesterday, we were 6 points clear ahead of Manchester City.
Okay.
So Manchester City had 2 games to play. Yesterday they played one. Had they won that, they would have narrowed that gap to only 3 points. They drew 3-3 with Everton, and so they only got 1 point. Meaning, Elephant is still on top of the table, very lonely there.
Okay.
And we are meeting West Ham. So if we beat West Ham, in the next couple of days, it's all gone.
You'll be in the clear.
It's a good as done. So Hammers, please respect us. We are very good friends. We don't have any problem. West Ham, hatuna shida na nyinyi.
Nyinyi ni watu wazuri.
We are very good people. So
Well, I knew something was happening because our WhatsApp group,
Yes.
the main WhatsApp group for the newsroom, I know there are particular people. When I see them posting and there's laughter and all that, I know there's always something to do with football. But then I didn't follow up. So yeah, I mean, you've just told me what happened. So good for you guys.
Yes.
And I like the excitement about football. In as much as I only watch World Cup
it's addictive.
and Africa Cup of Nations. Those are the only ones I watch. I keep saying that.
Yeah, it's
So
addictive.
good for you. At least naona kuna uko mchangamfu leo asubuhi.
Yeah, we are representing.
Yes.
You see.
Thank
We
you
have
so
to.
much. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Sue. How are you doing?
I'm well, and you?
I'm great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are just about to go into the news. In case you missed the news, maybe last night or in the past, 12 hours or so, stay tuned because we'll be letting you know what happened and what's happening and what will be happening later on in the day. But right about now, the president is actually going to be traveling to Tanzania, and I'll be bringing you up to speed with what will be happening there. He'll be actually addressing the parliament there in Tanzania together with his counterpart, that is Samia Suluhu Hassan. And President William Ruto is scheduled to address Tanzania's parliament today, and his speech is expected to highlight the need for closer ties between the 2 East African nations. The president, who left Nairobi on Monday morning, held a meeting with host President Samia Suluhu Hassan, pledging closer collaboration, seeking to enhance regional integration and unlock economic opportunities between the 2 countries. Let's get more with JJ Curia.
President William Ruto lands in the East African nation for a 2-day state visit. Dar es Salaam rolling down the red carpet for Ruto, a significant act demonstrating the brotherly relations between the 2 nations. A formal reception by his host, President Samia Suluhu, and a guard of honor mounted by the Tanzanian army. The 2 heads of state witnessed the signing of several memoranda of understanding and cooperation agreements seeking to deepen trade, investment, infrastructure, and transport cooperation.
We especially welcome the continued growth in bilateral trade, which reached $860 million in 2025, reflecting expanding opportunities and strong economic complementarities between our 2 nations.
Tume zetu za pamoja, kamati za pamoja za biashara, joint trade committees, zikae mara kwa mara kuzungumza masuala ya biashara na kuhakikisha hakuna vikwazo vipya vinajitokeza kwenye mambo hayo.
They pledged to foster mutual cooperation through constant consultation.
And I agree with President Samia Suluhu that our officials should make the engagements regular so that we can deepen and widen the bilateral relations between our 2 countries for the mutual benefit of our 2 peoples.
Ni matarajio yetu kwamba timu zetu za wataalamu zitakwenda kuyafanyia kazi mambo yote tuliyozungumza ili kufungua baraka zaidi, biashara zaidi, uwekezaji zaidi, lakini uelewano zaidi kati ya nchi zetu.
You remember about 4 years ago, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Mama Samia Suluhu, addressed the Parliament of the Republic of Kenya. It appears like this is a reciprocation with the President of the Republic of Kenya expected now to address the Tanzanian Parliament. Building on these relations, the President will address the gathering of Tanzanian lawmakers on Tuesday in a key highlight for a Kenyan head of state. On Monday, preparations for the address were in top gear as security and the leadership of the Assembly sought to ensure that every detail was up to date. Ruto will travel from Dar es Salaam to Dodoma for the address.
Of course, that address will be televised live here on KBC Channel 1 at about 11 o'clock, so you can stay tuned to just follow the proceedings. Now, hundreds of police officers were yesterday deployed in Marurui, Kiambu County along the northern bypass as houses were demolished on a disputed 300-acre piece of land. Residents claim they were not issued with any eviction notices and say a court order stopping the demolition was ignored. The evictions have left several families homeless, with conflicting claims over ownership of the land now at the center of the dispute. Ben Chumba reports.
Heavy police presence was deployed in Marurui, Kiambu Road as bulldozers moved in to bring down houses on the contested 300-acre piece of land. More than 500 officers in anti-riot gear were deployed to control the situation and restrict access to the site. Some residents say they bought the land and developed it over time, insisting the demolition was carried out without notice.
Nimeng'ang'ana, nimejituma. Hata mimi niko na akili naweza ibia watu. Lakini nikajituma nchi ya nje. Ndio nikuje niweze kukua na kitu kama hii. Ni uchungu sana. Sijui tunaanza wapi. Watoto walienda shule asubuhi. Hatujui wakirudi tunawapeleka wapi.
Other claims on the land include ancestral ownership, with some linking it to settlements dating back to the colonial period. Residents now say there was a court order issued by the Milimani Environment and Land Court stopping the demolitions.
Niko na court order kulingana na ubomaji ambayo inaendelea hapa. Juu sasa kuna wale washajenga, kuna wale washanini na watoto wako nao kwa manyumba, na naona bado kuna ubomaji wanashidi kuendelea hapa. Sasa naomba tafadhali wafanye nini, wawache ubomaji, sababu hii ndio nini? Hii ndio court order.
The demolitions have left families stranded, with some saying their children may return from school to find their homes destroyed. Eyewitnesses have also raised concern over increasing land disputes in Kiambu County.
Ambia wakaanzi, tunataka kupomoa, tafadhali mwezi plani ama tumewapea miezi 3 mjipange mtafuta mahali pa kwenda. Kwa maana ukipomoa nyumba kama hii ya mtu kama huyu na amenjenga, wewe mtu ni kumuangamiza, unamuangamiza. Atachikwa na depression na atakufa. Na ataacha familia yake.
Authorities are yet to issue a detailed statement on the demolition as affected families seek legal redress.
President William Ruto says he does not regret the decisions he has made since taking over office as the head of state. Speaking at State House, Nairobi, after witnessing the swearing-in of 37 newly appointed judges, Ruto says he chose the path of making difficult, often unpopular decisions to move Kenya forward, urging the newly appointed judges not to shy away from deviating from the norm.
Charity Chabi Oloch, Judge of the Environment and Land Court.
President William Ruto on Monday witnessed the swearing-in of 37 newly appointed judges of the High Court and Environment and Lands Courts.
As the leader of our nation, that as you carry out your responsibility, believe in God.
The head of state defending the position he has taken since taking over office.
Just do it. I have done it and I have no regrets whatsoever. However difficult, however unpopular, however, whatever it is said.
The president urging the newly appointed judges to do the same.
I implore you to do the right thing, however difficult, however unpopular, however uneasy it may be.
Ruto told the judges that their jobs go beyond their appointment and laxity is not an option.
I come across many leaders who, having gotten into office, they escape the duty of that office. They procrastinate, they delay, they absent themselves, and sometimes outrightly run away from station.
Of the 37 appointments, a total of 24 judges have been appointed to the High Court, while the remaining 13 judges have been appointed to the Environment and Lands Court.
I've had the privilege to swear in 92 judges now in 3 years.
Honorable Justice Lavender Makoni,
do solemnly swear that I will well and truly serve
the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA.
The appointing authority also witnessed the swearing in of 12 more COMESA new judges.
The Orange Democratic Movement has outlined an ambitious roadmap to capture power in the 2027 general election, marking a strategic shift from opposition-led activism to pursuing reforms from within government structures. The party leader, Oburu Odinga, who was missing in the meeting, had his speech read by Deputy Party Leader Simba Arati, where he called on the leadership to work effortlessly to ensure that the party increases its membership in the grassroots and settle internal wrangles that have been witnessed in the recent past.
Day 2 of the ongoing high-level joint meeting bringing together the party's National Executive Committee, Parliamentary Group, Council of Governors Caucus, and key policy experts at White Sands Resort in the port city of Mombasa. In today's resolutions read by the Secretary-General, Catherine Omanyo, she reiterated that the leadership in the party have agreed to strengthen the party through ironing out any internal differences and consolidating their support in the grassroots.
At this retreat, we have covered much ground on ways to effectively deal with new tendencies, how to enhance membership recruitment, the identification and recruitment of potential bearers of the party ticket, enhancement of party ideology, and identity expansion of party support base.
They say their decision to be part of the government is purely motivated by the needs of their supporters.
ODM has decided to be at tables and meetings where decisions that hurt our people are being made, and to turn them into decisions that support our people.
In Oburu's speech that was read by the Deputy Party Leader Simba Arati, he promised free and fair nominations.
Soon, each one of us will return to the electorate. And as we prepare for the party primaries, remember that the legacy I wish to leave behind is one founded on free and credible election.
They once again extended an olive branch to the Linda Mwananchi faction, urging them to come back to the party. Even as they continue to serve under the broad-based government, CS's president pledged to fully support the party and ensure its stability.
ODM has leadership. So anything we do, we have to do through that leadership that is here.
Kama ni mawaziri ama si mawaziri, sisi ni watu wa ODM.
So we have come to demonstrate unity in ODM, and that ODM is one, and which has one leadership under Dr. Oburu Odinga as the party leader of ODM.
The Jubilee Party has condemned what it terms as sustained political attacks against former President Uhuru Kenyatta by a section of leaders allied to the broad-based government. The former ruling party warned that such actions signal shrinking democratic space and intolerance towards alternative voices. Led by Jubilee Deputy Party Leader Fred Matiang'i, the leaders who spoke in Nairobi argued that the former head of state is exercising his constitutional right to express opinions on national issues.
Jubilee leaders, led by the party's presidential hopeful Fred Matiang'i, claim the government is fostering political intolerance following renewed criticism directed at former President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Language that is being used by some of these leaders in reference to President Kenyatta is shocking. Even we ourselves as members of Jubilee, and we have said this before, and maybe because we are a party that has governed, we will not even allow and encourage our members to use that kind of language against President William Ruto, because it's indecent, it's unbecoming. We're going to build a decent society, and a society that upholds truly the principles of democracy and decency.
Speaking in Nairobi, the leader said recent attacks against the former president demonstrate unwillingness by those in power to accommodate alternative voices in the country's democratic space.
The retired president makes one phone call, and the government screams the whole weekend. What kind of people are these? And you know, we are reading now, the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, a public sector government agency, has told us clearly with data and statistics that 2/3 of the stories they have been telling us are just blatant lies.
They maintain that Uhuru's public remarks on governance fall squarely within his constitutional right, and one that attempts to silence dissent voices undermine democratic principles. The leaders further criticized alleged threats to withdraw state benefits accorded to the retired president, terming the move unconstitutional and politically motivated.
We are particularly concerned and indeed alarmed by reckless statements from certain political actors threatening punitive action against the former president, including the suggestion that his retirement benefits could be withdrawn. Such statements are not only constitutionally untenable, they represent a dangerous erosion of the respect and dignity accorded to the office of the president, both past and present.
I mean, when the president can't even be given very basic benefits that he deserves, it's just that he's a gentleman. He doesn't want to make issues about it. And then he's focusing on going on with his life. I think it's upon the conscience of those who are in leadership to respond to that question.
At the same time, the Jubilee leaders faulted plans to introduce taxes targeting Mitumba business, saying the proposal risks burdening small-scale traders and thousands of Kenyans who rely on the sector for livelihood.
We have introduced, I don't know where they live. They live in some alternative universe. But my parting words are these, fellow Kenyans: don't lose hope. Don't give up hope. 14 months down the road, we will turn the corner. We are going to change things.
For Prime Edition, I'm glad.
Of course, that was Gladys Mungai reporting there. Let's look at news making headlines in the counties where junior secondary school intern teachers in Embu County have downed their tools protesting delayed confirmation into permanent and pensionable terms. Dozens of teachers staged demonstrations in Embu town, vowing not to return to class until their demands are addressed. Details in the County News Roundup.
Speaking while presenting the money promised by the President to the winners of the Kalasha Awards, the Principal Secretary for Youth Affairs and Creative Economy, Fikreni Jacobs, and the Head of Presidential Special Projects and Creative Economy Coordination, Dennis Itumbi, said the move was a show of commitment by the President in acknowledging efforts by those in the creative sector.
And I believe the commitment of His Excellency.
Tens of irate JSS intern teachers took to the streets blowing whistles and carrying placards in Embu town. The educators faulted the involvement of political leaders in the process, insisting that recruitment and confirmation remain the mandate of the Teachers Service Commission. They say over 44,000 JSS teachers nationwide remain on internship, with 709 in Embu serving for more than 2 years. They are now calling on TSC to act swiftly and regularize their employment status.
Give 7 or 9 letters to our intern teachers in Embu County, because we are not going to allow them to continue suffering with a pay of 17,000. And it is time. It is given without any further delay.
In Kakamega, police have arrested 2 suspects and seized cannabis sativa worth 900,000 shillings, including 160 rolls of bhang and smuggled cigarettes. Authorities say the drugs were disguised using biscuits and coloring before being distributed to students and residents. In a separate incident in Butere, officers recovered 5 sacks of cannabis in Lunza. Police say the suspects have been arraigned and efforts to curb drug trafficking near learning institutions have been intensified.
Kwanza walikuwa na mbegu mbegu ya bangi ambayo ilikuwa approximately kilo 40 na misokoto ya tayari ile ilikuwa imesokotwa ambaye mnaziona hapa 165 na bangi yenyewe ya kilo 5.
Still within the county, community health promoters are urging both levels of government to reinstate their health insurance cover. The volunteers say the scheme was withdrawn 2 years ago, limiting their access to medical services. They spoke in Navakolo during a malaria response training supported by Rotary Kenya. Officials say $300,000 have been set aside to support community health volunteers in 4 western counties.
The community health promoters are working in the villages, and which most of them are far from the urban facilities that are better equipped. Knowing that they play a very vital role in the community and given the kind of work they do, it's prudent that the government pays for them this year.
In Luanda, tensions is still high after confrontations between police and border riders in the region for the second day now. The confrontations have led to the closure of the Busia-Kisumu highway, with vehicle owners forced to look for alternative routes. Border operators say they will continue disrupting normal flow of traffic until their peers who were arrested by police are released from custody. According to the border riders, 2 of their colleagues were killed in the melee.
Wale walioshikwa wale wenye wako cell ndani kwa police station Luanda saa hii waachiliwe, na zile pikipiki zilizoshikwa kwa za hao vijana ziachiliwe, ndio maana hii maandamano ikamilike.
Finally, the government has intensified efforts to formalize land ownership in colonial-era settlements across the country. Through the Kenya Informal Settlements Improvement Project, authorities are conducting land surveys and beaconing to facilitate issuance of title deeds. The program, supported by global partners, also targets infrastructure upgrades, including roads, drainage, and sanitation. In Kirinyaga County, over 1,600 residents across 11 villages are set to benefit from the initiative.
Nataka sana tusaidiwe ama tupewe title deeds kama vile tuliahidiwa kwa hizi plots. Tunakaanga hatunanga title, tuko na minute peke yake ambazo haziwezi tusaidia sana, lakini tukipata title tunaona tutasaidika sana.
And let's look at matters fuel. A section of transporters across the country are appealing to the government to intervene on what they say is a looming fuel shortage of selected fuel products. A spot check in selected towns revealed that transport operators are either considering hiking fares further or completely shutting down operations due to what they say is lack of sufficient diesel stocks in fuel stations.
Of early April 2026, the National Treasury said there was sufficient national fuel stocks. However, motorists have begun reporting local shortages suspected to be caused by hoarding. Is there a looming shortage, or has it already begun?
Nimezunguka Mwembe, nimekuja Pandia, nimekuja Shell, nimekuja hapa Kasaburanga, sijapata mafuta. Hata saa hii nahangaika, nateremka huko chini docks niangalia kama nitapata mafuta. Hakuna diesel, shida. Wamebandisha na hakuna diesel.
Diesel hakuna. Bado sijapata saa hii. Na saa hii nasunguka pale nitapata diesel. Ndio ni station ngapi nimesunguka.
Currently, the government is temporarily allowing a waiver on certain fuel standards due to supply chain disruptions caused by the Middle East conflict. But transporters fear a shortage will even lead to loss of livelihoods.
Semekana the rate of unemployment katika nchi yetu ya Kenya itazidi kuongezeka. Na uhalifu ama wizi itaongezeka. Juu sekta yetu imebeba vijana. Na sasa tunaomba serikali izingatie kutafuta mafuta, sana mafuta ya diesel.
The government maintains there is no crisis, attributing shortages to panic buying and hoarding by marketers anticipating price adjustments. Even so, users have an appeal.
Huwezi beba watu bure, na unaelewa kila mtu amefinyika na hii uchumi. So ombi letu ni serikali zingatie, iongezee mafuta, sababu mafuta ikikosa, possibility ni bei itaongezeka, na ikiongezeka kazi itashindikana.
That's where we bring the news this morning to a close. Thank you, as always, for your time and your company. Remember, the President William Ruto's address to the Tanzanian Parliament will be taking place today, and that will be around 11 o'clock, so stay tuned to just listen into what will be happening there. My name is Maria, but of course, my colleague Victor Lo will be up next in just a moment.
Oh, it's burning! Oh, that's burning! Oh, the purse! Grab a stick! It's dangerous! Quick! The purse!
Why do you want money so much lately?
To take care of you.
Why do you have to be so hard on yourself?
But learning a language is a long-term process. You need to put in the work. But by that time, you'll probably be too old.
Sasa wataka nini? Acha nikwambie Vizena. Wakati wako umeisha, ndio wakati wangu. Nasikia?
Lazima tutumie muda tulionao vizuri. Ongea nami tafadhali.
Kusudi la sarakasi ni nini?
Kwani Maimuna aenda? Kwani unafanya nini tena?
Toki hapa mpaka niajadili ninayoongelea, sawa? Beko, niache.
Hebu nisikize.
Sitaki kusikiza, sitaki kuona.
Nikirudi hapa sitaki kupata, kishasikia?
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Karibu sana. It's now time for us to get into politics, and it's now 4 minutes past 7 a.m. It's a beautiful Tuesday, the 5th of May, 2026. I hope you are having it perfectly well. Okay, so before you leave your house or before you get out, let's get into it. First of all, allow me to introduce my guests. I have Professor Fred Ogola, who is the LDP presidential aspirant 2027. Prof, good morning.
Morning, my brother Victor.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm happy to be here with Wakili.
Yes.
Yes.
Wakili Shadrack Wamboi.
Morning, morning,
An
Victor.
advocate of the High Court.
Thank
it's
you.
good to be specific.
Yes, 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 yes. Of course, because we have got so many advocates. We have got, advocates for, environmental conservation.
Yes.
We have advocates for female rights. So not necessarily advocates of the High Court of Kenya. So it is always important that you specify it's an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. And I am privileged to be here.
Asante sana.
Thank you very kindly. Always a pleasure to be in the company of the 6th President of Kenya.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, Prof has been doing so much.
Can you see the smile on his face?
Yes, yes.
I've never seen Prof smile like that.
No, I mean, why not? Why not smile?
Why not?
In this country, all dreams are valid.
You see, the smile is the biggest attire you can ever have. You can be in the smartest suit, or a woman can dress to kill, but a smile can kill much more.
So you are not fully dressed until you wear that smile.
Yeah, because what is it in this world that you would live when you are not smiling?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No matter what, we must be positive.
Yeah.
We must have hopes, and this smile could just maybe make somebody's day. You never know. Yeah.
In fact, they say
Victor,
that, yeah.
Yes, there is an old adage that says you make the mile short with a token smile.
You
make the mile short
yes.
with a token smile. Of course, these are an old saying that came after, long before the invention of motor vehicles and these locomotives. Yeah, so people will walk for long distances.
Napiga tu story tu.
Yes,
Cheka.
yes. So mkikula story,
Yeah.
you make the mile short with a token smile.
That is nice.
Yes.
Okay, great. So let's smile. That's a very good point to start. Always smile. You just never know. And by the way, the more you smile, you use very few muscles in your body. True that? And when you frown, when you're upset, you use a lot of muscles in your body. All right, gentlemen, let's do this. On the front page of the local daily list, let me start with the Star. Prof, what do you have on the front page of the Star?
It says Kenya bets big on 10 mega dams to secure its future.
Go ahead, explain us for us facilities.
Okay, they say that there are different facilities under construction here. Of course, you see the Karimeu 2 dam.
Yeah.
They say it holds 22.6 billion liters of water. They talk about it serves Ruiru, Juja, Gatundu, Kiambu, Githurai, and Nairobi.
Yeah.
And here they are talking about a farmer who seems to be harvesting big. I'm sure this farmer is also smiling, just like we said. Yeah.
Okay. On the top header there, what is Mbadi saying there? That Ruto has done something?
Yeah, he's saying that Ruto has steered the economy through tough times. Yeah.
That's according to CS Mbadi.
Yes, of course.
And Mutai Kagwe Waziri says that state?
He says how state plans to reduce flood imports,
food
imports,
yes.
Sorry. And then lift local production, which I think as a minister in agriculture, if that is the case, then that is a good news if it happens.
As an economist, by the way, let's just come to that briefly. Talk about food production, because at the end of the day, when you lift local production, then it means that there is circulation and there is sufficient supply of food in the country.
You see, Victor, if you look at Solomonic economics books which I wrote, we said Kenya there are 5 stages in the economy. There's what you call hunter and gathering, where people go out, they pick whatever it is. When I grew up, we used to pick mapera along Trans Nzoia River. Then, of course, after that, we talk about the issue of agrarian, where now agricultural farming, let's say food crops and animals become what makes people feed.
Yes.
The second type of economy is where we talk about industrialization, where we manufacture. So you realize from what he's saying, agricultural production is still the biggest employer in the country. And we need now to find how we can make this. But what is this happening as an economist? If this is the case, the more we produce, there will be supply overcoming demand. And if that happens, then immediately you'll find things like inflation going down. Interest rates will also go down, because when there's more money in the economy, there's less risk in the economy because of default rates are very low. Then money can actually start, entrepreneurs and farmers can start accessing money. And when that happens also, you find that the purchasing power of the shilling will go up. Because if we produce, especially for export, the companies abroad or people abroad will demand the Kenya shilling to buy the produce from Kenya. And when the Kenya shilling is under high demand, automatically the power of the shilling goes up. And when that happens also, you realize the more the dollar becomes weaker against the Kenya shilling, fuel prices will go down, because fuel prices we import in dollars. So when the dollars are cheaper to buy, then you'll find that this will be felt at the pump. And you can go on and on. The debt stock also will go down, because we are paying in dollars. We borrow in dollars. We generate money in Kenya shillings and pay. So if the exchange rate improves, also you'll find that it's cheaper for us to pay our debt, and therefore the debt will go down. You may find that by the Kenya shilling going down by 2 shilling or 3 shillings, we're reducing our debt by 1 billion without paying anything. Our debt has gone down 1 billion. So if these people can do what they're saying, and we have seen these headlines since I was born. I'm sure, Victor, you've seen these things now. We are doing local production, which shall improve life. But actually, the thing is that it does not happen. But I'm not saying that I'm a prophet of doom. Because you said I'm running for president, and I said that if there's one thing I want to do, what's called the one thing, is to generate 100,000 jobs per county in large-scale agricultural production, and there's a formula for it. Every county give me 50,000 acres. I deploy 2 people per acre. That is 100,000 jobs for young people. And you ask me, where is money coming from? We launched the Kenya token, which will generate money in foreign direct investment to put it. So I don't have to wait to be in office. And I'll be president by being president because the president's work is to offer jobs and transform the economy. And that's what I call the silver bullet. You know what I call silver bullet? To solve all the problems, because the Kenyan problem is 1, high debt. 2, high inflation. 3, high interest rate. 4, we are having challenges of the issue of the purchasing power of the Kenya shilling.
Yeah.
And of course, services like healthcare and education. When you do 100,000 jobs per county, you'll generate 4.7 million jobs nationally. So you are bringing 4.7 million taxpayers to the tax buckets. What will happen is that you lower the tax burden on the middle class so that the middle class don't have to be overtaxed. And when you give them back their pay slip, you'll find people smiling on the street much more. At the same time, when you generate this large-scale production, for example, we can just plant avocado, export them to Canada or the US or Australia. Immediately that happens, that the Kenya shillings will work. So the same thing I explained to you is aligned. So the issue is, the question here is, Victor, it is not what needs to do. It is that who can do it. Because these promises, since we were born, we've had them. Who is qualified to do it? And that's I'm telling Kenyans, that I'm asking you Kenyans, that I think Kenya needs an economist who understands the economy very well. But not just that. What's value code? Has Fred Ogola ever said something and he didn't do? I've been a professor in Strathmore for 13 years. Did I not deliver what needed to be done? I've sat in the Catholic Health Board and Catholic Health boards for 17 years. Have you not seen the Catholic Church growing in leaps and bounds, where one hospital grew from level 2 to level 5? So I'm saying we look at the track record. We look at what you understand as a knowledgeable thing. So I believe that it is not about manifestos. In my party, LDP, we don't believe in manifesto. We believe in manifestation. You know, there's a difference between manifesto and manifestation.
That's almost implementation.
Manifestation is like when Jesus read the gospel and said, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, and he has sent me to liberate the poor, isn't it? He said, in your listening, this has been fulfilled. Manifestation, like a manifest. When you transfer money to my bank account, I'll ask you, can you send me a manifest? Unajua wakili wanapendanga hiyo story.
Yes.
When a wakili want to present in court, he'll tell you, you transferred money to me, send me the manifest. Manifest is the evidence that money has been moved.
Yeah.
So Kenyans do not want manifestos. Kenyans want manifestations, what you've done. So all leaders vying for any position in Kenya, let me advise you, Kenyans have been cheated for long. Focus on manifestation, not manifestos.
All right. Let's come back to the Daily Nation. Thank you so much for the Prof. On the front page of the Daily Nation, Wakili, you'll take that?
Yes. Thank you. With honor. The headline is going after Uhuru's hefty parks. And we have the former president of the Republic of Kenya sitting comfortably in his sneakers. Of course, angered by the former President Uhuru Kenyatta's dabbling in politics, including criticism of the President Ruto, the ruling coalition's leader have revived the campaign to block his state-funded benefits, reigniting a feud between rival political camps. Of course, the full story is to be found in page 4 and 5.
Page 4 and 5.
Yes.
And up there, it's more of a pushback where Jubilee defends party leader, claiming that state is denying him some retirement benefits. And down there, there is, according to Senator Cherargei.
Yes.
Some of the parks, actually, it's more of, it's illustrated down there. You can take a look at that. There's a lot of money, 34.7 million. Can go about that, Wakili?
Well, we have about 362 million shillings. Annual budget for the office of the former retired president in the financial year ending next month.
Yes.
Now, I mean, I do not know whether I should say something about this.
Go ahead. Yes.
Well, I have been following what has been happening in the country. And of course, we have laws. We have a law on the presidential retirement parks. The act that was passed in the year about 2004. It's an old law.
Yeah.
And to the benefit of the people of the Republic of Kenya, it's one very short piece of legislation, one that you can read within 2 or 3 minutes. And the beauty about this law, it it takes notice. It takes notice of the office of the former President of the Republic of Kenya, whoever it is. It takes notice of people who will be entitled to his retirement packs, either in his person or if he is deceased, as we have seen, you know, in the instance of, you know, the death of the first and founding President of the Republic of Kenya, where we have Mama Ngina still holding the office of the former First Lady of the Republic of Kenya. We have this law that guarantees the spouse of a former president certain perks and entitlements. Now, the beauty about this law is that it sets down the role or the obligations that should be conducted or discharged by the former president. So he's given the responsibility of helping in advising the government. He's given the responsibility of you know, advising the people of the Republic of Kenya, because he has a duty not only to the government, he has a duty to the people of the Republic of Kenya.
He's now a statesperson.
He is a statesperson. Over and above that, as and when duty calls, he might be given certain roles by the government to discharge. Remember, during the swearing in of His Excellency William Ruto at Kasarani, there was mention of certain assignments that the president was given, the former president was given.
Especially
I mean, to the chagrin of so many
that.
people. Yes, he was given certain assignments to discharge on behalf of the people of Kenya. So even while at it, the law also makes mention that there are certain circumstances that will lead to either the slicing of those retirement benefits or the taking away of those benefits. Now, what the law prescribes, and this is what is important and the people should notice, the law gives the duty of coming up with a motion to the withdrawal of these perks to the National Assembly. Now, the parliament as we have in the Republic of Kenya is divided into two levels. So we have the first level, we have the National Assembly, and we have the Senate. So that there are certain functions that the law, this is now the Constitution and statute, designate to be done by the National Assembly, while others are designated to be done and performed by the Senate. So this law on the Presidential Retirement Benefits Act assigns the responsibility of withdrawing or slashing the benefits of a retired president to the National Assembly. So we have a motion that has been filed before the Senate by, this is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, by the way, we studied together. This is the Nandi Senator, Samson Cherargei. Samson Cherargei is not a member of the National Assembly. Samson Cherargei is a member of the Senate.
Where does this motion start?
It starts and ends. Because you see, the rationale behind us having the Senate in the first place was to ensure that we safeguard devolution. So that all matters concerned or revolving around devolution must either originate from the Senate or must have at least some input from the senators. So not all bills, not all matters, sorry, not all matters should by law find themselves in the floor of the Senate. So the ones that should find themselves on the floor of the Senate are those that involve the functions of the county governments. So this is a national office. The office of the former president is a national office. So the prerogative duty to deal with the perks or the retirement benefits of the former president, if at all there is reason, that is a function that has been reserved solely to the members of the National Assembly.
Okay.
So that if they were to do it rightly, then the motion ought to have originated from the National Assembly. And that is why Sheria Mtaani, we are suing this morning. We are suing the Speaker of the Senate, Mr. Amason Kingi. We are suing him for permitting the violation of the Constitution and the violation of the rule of law as it is today.
What did he violate?
No. The law, particularly under Article 22 of the Kenyan Constitution, you do not have to wait until the violation of something has been done. The very least that you know and I know, and the people who are watching and listening to us know, is that there has been a motion filed before the Senate by the Nandi Senator, Mr. Advocate Samson Cherargei. And this has been filed for the sole purpose of leading to a debate. I think the debate should be done today. Or the motion should be filed formally today when the House resumes.
Yes.
So that if it is filed, that is in itself a waste of our time as a people. Remember, the functions of these members of the Senate is to discharge duties that have been delegated to them by the people of the Republic of Kenya. They exercise delegated authority. So as a people who are sovereign under the Article 1 of the Constitution, we have decided that since all of us, the 54 million of us, cannot fit in the Senate, we have given them certain responsibilities. And among the responsibility we have given to them is taking good care of the time, accounting for the time that they are in that office.
Okay.
So that filing this motion or having this motion filed and entertained in the floor of the Senate, while knowing too well that Section 6, yes, Section 4 of the Presidential Retirement and Benefits Act precludes the Senate from entertaining such a motion. That is in itself, abdicating your role and responsibility as a house or a leadership of the house, so that you now lead to the wasting time of the people of Kenya.
Okay.
Yesterday I had an interview being conducted on Mr. Samson Cherargei. And one thing that he said, that some of these monies could be used for, development and, for development agenda,
yes,
by the Kenyan Kwanza government or the government as it is. One thing that he does not tell you is this, that even the time that he spends there, he should be accounting for that time. He should be presenting motions that he knows too well. They are motions that have been brought to the floor of the House in good faith.
That is, take a breather.
Yes.
I'll come back to that. If it is political then,
yes,
should it get to that point where a motion is now tabled to withdraw the PACs because of his political engagement? Let's come back to that later on. But from what you can hear, it is more political than legal.
Yeah, because first of all, let me say that before I make that statement, it's important to highlight that I met some elders yesterday, and these are elders especially from the Luo community, and they were really concerned. They were led by Elder Pius Njagi, who told me they are very concerned that the country is going more political, yet the most important things are being ignored. He says that as elders, they are concerned about peace, unity, and development. And they told me that they're actually engaging some committees, like today they are meeting some elders from the Kikuyu community. Tomorrow, I think, they are going to meet elders from the Loya community. And they're telling me that they are more concerned about peace, unity, and freedom.
Yes.
So in case that bill is going to be talking about issues of politics on how to divide people, I'm sure even the elders led by Kir, Pius Njagi, I'm sure maybe if you have time, you might actually call upon him maybe one day to give his statements. He believes that this country just needs peace, unity, and development. So any bill, by the way, Wakili, should just be concerned about that, not about hunting the former president. Let him retire. He's retired. I don't think he's in a political position. Of course, he owns Jubilee Party. I don't know why this is an issue. When someone runs a Jubilee Party, he's fronted people like Matiang'i to be the party leader, deputy party leader. Let him hand over slowly, because Jubilee was trouble from day one. Remember, when he just left office, Jubilee was under attack. People wanted to take over the Jubilee Party. So it is, even you saw Matiang'i complaining yesterday about what's happening in Ole Kalau. So what I'm trying to say here is that leaders, I'm a presidential candidate, isn't it? But I cannot be saying that I can see other people as enemies. Their sufferings are mine, and mine should be theirs. So I believe that this is not the issue, because as you are saying, reducing his PACs for the former president, the one of Kalonzo Musyoka is being enhanced. So also he presenting it, it's been approved. For example, these guys receive crazy amounts of money, and these monies are being improved. So for me, I believe this is not what people should be discussing, Victor. People should discuss about Wanjiku. People should discuss about how to make those people there. Can you imagine, we are being discussed that you are getting 350 million, over 350 million shillings a year for your office. Remember, there's money they give them in lump sum. There are some they give monthly. And then there are some given to you for allowances, while there's a Kenya who does not make sense. Like I've just looked at statistics here, Victor. The GDP is growing by 4.8%. It's projected to continue growing by 5.3%. And these guys discuss about GDP growth. But as an economist, economic growth is useless without economic freedom. And that means that liberation cannot happen economically until you discuss about household. Like now, you are discussing about a household. Uhuru Kenyatta is a former president. His father is a former president. The perks to his father is going to the family. The perk to the first lady, the first lady is going to that first lady. Him as president, former president, also there's a perk going to him. At the same time, there's a perk going to his wife and also the siblings. That is just one household we are discussing. You get me? But there's a household in Kirinyaga that there is nobody even who has pension. There's nobody without a job. And we are discussing here, and you are going to court on behalf of somebody who is a multi-billionaire. You get me? Yes. Discussing how he can get 375 million shillings a year, isn't it? But you're not discussing about those boys on the street you see there. And they're talking about, you can use that money, I don't know, to build a dam. But let's talk about this one very clear. Victor, I'm heartbroken a little bit, forgive me. Let us discuss about how can you bring money to household? What is the household expenditure in your village where you come from? Do they care how much you get? But this care about maintaining an office, which is not giving any value to Kenya as such. I'm not saying that people should not be given, let's say, retirement packs, isn't it? But how comes when that happens, we discuss a lot about it. That man who lost his job and has not been given his pension the other day, we don't discuss about it.
Okay, I think it's...
I'm not saying it's bad, Victor, but I'm saying Kenya doesn't lack wealth. What we lack is distribution and ownership. There are some people who get theirs faster, others get theirs later. Wakili, you are in this economy. How many Kenyans are being auctioned who just took a loan because of the taxes? And these taxes are being raised to make some people wealthy and stay in office and get their pension till the end. I also know that the former president has a right to that park because there's a reason why you need it, isn't it?
I want to take
but
a break.
At the same time, let us also discuss again about the normal Kenyan who needs this economic freedom and liberation. And I want to end by saying these elders, their wisdom, they know that we don't want divisiveness. And I want to ask the Senator Cheragei, please let us not start attacking the former president. Let us find ourselves how we can survive with peace and freedom.
Let's take a break. When you look at the top left of the Daily Nation, Wakili, it says that something is quite close to, Prof, that debt crisis at as 1.3 trillion to pay interest on loans. All right. As we take a break, of course, Oburu's ODM faction seeks to heal the rift in new power play. They are in Mombasa for, I think it ends today, and they've had a lot of ultimatums in as far as that is concerned. So let's take a break. And we come back today, I want to talk about politics and policy making. That is, how are you supposed to be part and parcel of that process, and how does it affect you, including you as the Wanjiko? Let's talk about that when we come back after this break. Stay with us.
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima tunajifunza jinsi ya kukuza kitunguu saumu.
Ukitaka kupata mbegu, unaenda kwa mtu mwenye amelima, unaiona hapa, unaona ndio hii. Practically unaona kwa macho. Ninakuuzia gari inaitwa Rwanda. Hiyo Rwanda unaiona wapi? Iko hapa.
Ungana nasi Jumamosi saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1 kwa mseto kamili wa kilimo.
For many, a wheelchair is more than just a device. It is a vital tool for independence and bridge to the world. It transforms personal mobility, allowing persons with disabilities to engage in their daily endeavors on their own terms.
When we make spaces accessible, we are not making it just for the persons with disabilities. We are empowering whole families, communities, and the society at large.
There's a long journey with disability inclusion. The question is, are you part of it?
We understand the challenges that you go through, but having that wheelchair, that is your freedom, that is your privacy.
Join us this Saturday as we remind our community to not only build for one, but build for everyone. I'll see you then.
It's so much more than that. So the story is the story of the Bible, and it's taking you from creation or Genesis all the way to Revelation.
Using the latest light detection and 3D laser technology, you can literally interact with the walls.
Suddenly, I'm a little kid again, and I could go and create and paint on the walls.
I just wanted my mom to look me in the eyes and say, son, I love you at the end of the day, and give me kisses on my forehead, on my cheeks, but I never received that.
John Nicholas's mother worked long hours raising 5 children alone. The stress took its toll, and she took her anger out on her kids. When John was just 7 years old, his mother beat him with her high heels. This went on for years. By the time John was 15, his mother kicked him out of the house.
All right, welcome back. All right, Prof, we're back. Okay, thank you for staying with us. Okay, now let's come back. I want to talk about, on the front page of the Standard, very quickly, for fairness, going after Uhuru. That's almost the same thing that we've been discussing here for the last 15 minutes. Going after Uhuru, safety parks on the front page of the Daily Nation, and here, going after Uhuru. That's on the front page of the Standard. Now, let's come back to the issue of policy and policy making. We all know that there's a process, and Wanjiku has to be involved in the process of policy making. Most importantly, when it comes to economic and political issues. Let me come to you, Wakili. First of all, does Wanjiku really understand the process? Because I'm asking this question. We're headed to one of the most, the season where, you know, Professor Gola here loves so much. Political temperatures are rising, but that is the point that if Wanjiku is not careful, that so many things will just pass him by the roundabout. How does Wanjiku get involved in this so that we are all at par as a nation?
Well, we have certain constitutional dictates. The Constitution dictates under Article 10 that there is the need. There is the need, and it's a demand made by the Constitution of involving the people by way of public participation. So that in anything that involves the common man,
yes,
the Wanjiku, they are TNOs and they are Viambos of this world, the people must be at the center. The people must be involved, either at the point of developing the policy itself, and at the point of even passing the policy and at the implementation of that policy document. So this is, in other words, to ensure that we do not have a people who are being led blindly. They do not know where they are being taken to. They do not know the aspirations and the hopes of the people who are leading them towards prosperity, as it were. So this is very important, that whenever we have any policy making or we have a formulation of any policy document, then the people must be at the center. And we have seen in the recent past, the courts have not shied away from declaring as unconstitutional policies or laws that have been passed without the involvement of the people. At some point, we have seen, it began actually in Kiambu, where a finance act was passed by the County Assembly of Kiambu. It was nullified. We have seen subsequently, even in Kajiado, this year and last year, we had very groundbreaking authorities from the Environment and Land Courts, where the county government, having imposed land rates on freehold and leasehold properties without the participation of landowners, the court came down on the county government and declared this provisions of the Kajiado Finance Act of the year 2023 as unconstitutional. So really, we do not have a dearth of material to demonstrate, how important the people of the Republic of Kenya have been in passing or the implementation of policies. The courts have been there, they have said it, they will continue saying it. Remember, it does not really matter the intention of the leader. The leader is taken to be a servant. So this servant, however well-intended he is or she is, she must at the very least inform the master of the aspirations or the vision that he has over the people that have employed him. So this is to mean that even while we have seen the government coming up with very good policies that are meant, if you interrogate them thoroughly, they are meant to change and transform the lives of the people. But we have seen on several occasions the courts coming to stop the implementation of these policies that were seen or were said to be, policies that will transform the lives of the people. Largely because the people were not involved in the formulation of these policies. So it's a constitutional dictate, it must be followed. We have seen attempts from the National Assembly, trying to legislate on values and principles, the value of public participation. It is not really possible for you to legislate on what public participation will be. And we have seen several attempts failing. The thing is this is a behavioral issue. In the past, we saw a country where the very people who employed the politicians and these people who have the state officers and public officers exercised, they sidelined the very people who employed them. They came up with things that were very strange and foreign to the people, now resulting to the enactment of these national values. It's a value and a principle. So that whenever you are thinking of something that affects the people, whenever you have an idea, you just need to involve us as a people.
Policy making shapes representative governance, Prof. And at some point, if not taken very carefully, then the will of the people will be subverted.
Absolutely.
It's a dangerous move. Is Wanjiku aware of that? I used the word Wanjiku intentionally.
You see, yesterday, there's a gentleman who wrote me a message and told me that the election in 2027 will not make sense if these Wanjiku who know nothing are allowed to vote. Actually suggesting that maybe only learned people of a certain degree all should vote. Understand? And I told him, exclusion is absolutely wrong. Then when I was organizing the summit at Catholic University, I put ethical stewardship for the love of the poor. There's a Nigerian CEO who called me and told me, remove the word the poor, because this is not a conference for the poor. How can the poor be discussed? So people are thinking that the fact that some people are poor, they don't know what they want. Victor, let me tell you, when I was running for Member of Parliament of Kenya, I thought I knew. There's a class 4 person who advised me actually how to do my campaign. You are a professor, but not a professor of the people.
Yes,
they say, they told me, Professor, now you think you're an educated person. Here we are in Sega. Now, if you want to go to the toilet, where will you go? And I'm like, by the way, there's no toilet in Sega. There's no public toilet. There's true. You go to Sega and tell me you want to go to the toilet. There's no public. I was like, my goodness. So there are so many things that we think we know, but we don't know. We think we know what people want, but actually we don't know. And let me tell you my philosophical thinking about it. There is what you call the difference between Kiev and Moscow. Moscow believes that the state is at the center and all citizens should go around worshipping it. While Kiev, they believe that the sovereign people is at the center, so the state is there. And that's why the Pope wrote this first encyclical that Pope Leo said, apostolic exhortation for the love of the poor. He believes that the poor should be at the center of what we do. That's why the Holy See, the Vatican, just talks about two things: peace and dealing with poverty. So when you deal with poverty, you release Wanjiku to come and participate. Like, you know what public participation needs? Money.
Yes.
So you go to court, I also go to court. When the state comes with a bad policy, you go to court, but who funds you? Yourself.
Yes.
And that's why, Victor, before we resource public participation, By giving Wanjiku resources to participate, they can participate. Like a call for participation, sometimes they put public participation in Glee Hotel, Glee in Kiambu. Sometimes they put them in another hotel on Mombasa Road. Now tell me, if you come from Mugenya, you want to participate, present a petition, who pays for your travel? So Wanjiku is not resourced, but them they are resourced. Members of Parliament, last time, I caused chaos. I was going to make a presentation at KICC against the infrastructure fund. I arrived there and they put the thing at KICC. I arrived with my car. Who is fueling my car? Myself. When I came in, after I arrived at KICC, when I leave, they told me I pay 2,000 shillings for parking because I parked from 8, isn't it, up to 4. I caused chaos. So who is paying for that parking? Did I come to park here to earn money? Whom was I representing? But members of parliament who are listening to me, they were driven here with the government vehicles. When they open the gate is open. No one charges them parking fee. And when they are sitting there, they are sitting allowance for sitting to listen to me. Who prepared my paper? Then they told me I need to prepare printed copies and give to every member of the panel. Now, who is paying for the printing? I was there with my team. They asked me, Professor, maybe you sent you something that you are not telling us. I told them, my brother, look at my M-Pesa. It is just what it was, just Fuliza. What I'm trying to say here is that before you finance public participation, it is like some people have resources. They have media. They have secretaries. They have people doing for them research. Tell me, as Wanjiku, who is doing research for you? So what I'm trying to say in short is that it is shambolic at the moment. It is cosmetic. And I'm asking Wakili, you need to go to court and seek what is the requirement for public participation. Resources must be provided. The platform must be provided. Information must be provided. But now what it happens, for example, you go to the Anfo County, Unapata kama county officials have come with bread, they're putting bread there, they put some tea there, they put some soda, then they tell you, sign, then you can go take tea. So it's like, if you don't sign, you are participating, tea is not there. So tea becomes very important for your stomach, then you sign, I was there, that bill is okay, then you go take tea.
Thank you. You see what you're saying, Prof, it's about the representative governance, that's what I'm talking about here. But now that brings the policy gap, where now the policy makers fail to align the policy with the public preferences. So when you talk about somebody coming from Sega to Nairobi, location X or Y, there is a level of mistrust between the policy makers and the public preference. How do we bridge this gap?
Well, you see,
again, based on what Prof has said.
Yes. Everything rises or falls from our understanding or misunderstanding of Article 1 of the Constitution. So at the time when our public officers and state officers will understand that sovereign powers belongs to the people, that even while they are thinking or formulating an idea, that idea should be born from the deficiency that a people or the people are experiencing, not from their own imagination. For some reason, certain state officers and public officers believe that because they do not have, they have gone or they have traveled abroad, they have seen something, they think that the people that they represent are needy of what they have seen in America or in the USA or in Dubai. The truth of the matter is, unless the leaders that we have interact very closely with the people, what is said to be being on the ground, to interact and feel what the common mwananchi, the Wanjiku, is feeling, then whatever policies they will be coming up with, there will never be policies that will serve the needs of the people. There is no need of you building a big school while I do not have fees to access that school. And that is the problem we've been having in my constituency, in Kajiado North, that we are having,
that is preference and priorities.
Yes. You need to be very keen on priorities. That sometimes we are having people taking photos of, projects that have been done by the NGCDF. This is our money. Of course, projects that have not been well done as far as the Auditor General report is concerned. But when you take these images of, buildings or classrooms that have been built using the NGCDF, while the people you are serving do not have resources, they do not have school fees to send their students or their children to those classrooms. So for what value or for what purpose will these schools that you have built serve to the common man or common mwananchi? So I will believe that it is important that we begin from understanding that we are dealing with the people that are needy. These people that we are serving do not have enough resources to even have their children attend class. They cannot afford the school fees of 5,000 shillings. So what do you do with the resources that you have? Because resources will always be limited. Because we've got so many wants and needs. What you do is you come up with a priority list. The priority will be ensuring that for whatever reason or whatever circumstances, we have our students being in class. That assurance that our students will be in class. So you do something about the demand for school fees that is being made to these students. But when you get into an unholy alliance with the principals, there are principals who have come and exaggerated the school fees or the allowances that the students are supposed to be charged.
You know, you've talked about something, public participation here.
Yes.
You talked about it. And when you talk about priority, and you have your priority lists,
yes,
some of these priorities and even policies that are being made, Wanjiku is never involved.
Of course.
Wanjiku is never involved. Now that breeds the aspect of legitimacy and accountability. Again, that breeds the aspect of trust deficit.
Yes.
Well, ulienda ukafanya hii, you did not tell me.
Yes.
And then you are going to impose on me, or impose it on me as Wanjiku. How will I trust that it followed the due process? Then now, Prof, you'll see Wakili having a petition running to court and saying, this law was passed, it is unconstitutional.
By the way, Victor, let me forgive me to say something.
Go ahead.
Also, going to court is not necessarily a good thing always, because there's a petition I have in court whereby there's a syndicate where you sit in the county government and you do the wrong thing knowingly, not because you want to do the wrong thing, so that you can give your lawyer instruction to do the wrong thing. Then there's another panel of judges coming to go to court against you, understand? Then you release your lawyers to defend you. In the process, these people make money and they share. So this happening, Wakil, you know that very well. I have a petition in Bungoma where there is somebody who claims that there were ghost workers in the local authority, which was the defunct authority, that needs to be brought back into this. And I discovered that this ghost worker is not mostly the governor's problem. Sometimes it has come whereby there's a syndicate. So there's somebody who says that there are 463 ghost workers who are not paid, who are not in the payroll from the local government. They bring these people into in a petition that they need to be paid. And some of them, by the time they are claiming, they were 11 years. Some of them were 4 years. So there's a lot of scam also. Not everybody, Victor, who goes to court on your behalf is going for good. Some of them are making money. Billions of shillings are being lost in petitions which are fictitious, which people sit down and agree. You go and attack this person with the law, then me, I'll come to defend. Then the person paying is the governor. Like now, the county government of Nairobi, there's a time when Sakaja spent 2 billion shillings in legal suits. They choreographed it. The governor meets both the plaintiff and the defendant. You know this game, Wakili. I can tell you a family whereby somebody is the father, sits in the board. He instructs his son to be the one now to defend the entity, and then this money is shared with the whole thing. So not going to court is good, but let me go back to your point. And I'm sure this case, you're going to see it coming very strong in the media in the next few days. According to me, look, for example, there are entities like elders. Let's say my vision as when I become president. These elders can bring unity much easier than politicians talking about our unity in the podium. For example, if you get the Kikuyu elders, you get the Luo elders, you get the Kisi elders, you get the coastal elders, tell them, guys, you sit down and tell me how tribalism can end. Then you resource them. This will end. Talk to the young people who feel that the problem is their unemployment. Don't tell them, I'll build a road to get you employment. No. Yes. Tell the young people. You see that like the Gen Z who came in the June 25th. Tell them there's a town hall. Now, government has places that can say, for example, if you just tell them, I'll give you a hall, for example, Kenya Cinema, or this cinema here, the one just next to it's called what? This place, I see them, sometimes they go there. Just tell them, I'm giving you a hall for 1 day, isn't it? Sit down, find people who can sit and say, this unemployment problem, how do you want us to approach it? The finance bill, how do you approach it? For example, for us, the finance bill for this year, which we are We are in April, isn't it?
We are in May.
The cycle, May. The
Yeah.
cycle for finance bill or budget began in July last year. As soon as we implement that, this began, isn't it?
Yes.
You have not seen the bill, yes, isn't it? You'll start seeing it in June. Then you are supposed to respond to it. It should be passed in the very June. So how have we participated? You are not participating, you are commenting. Commenting on a bill does not mean participation. So it is not supposed to be cosmetic. You must respect people.
Now that brings the aspect of process, participation in the process of policy making.
So by the time,
Yes.
by the time, for example, John Mbadi read the budget last year in 2025, isn't it? In July. And the finance bill was passed. As soon as he finished the 2024, 2025, 2026 budget, he began immediately the 2026, 2027
Prof,
budget.
in under 1 minute, you've talked about something. Let me just ask it. The process of policy making, how does it affect the final outcome? Because you talked, give an example of the finance bill. In June, we'll see the bill itself. We're supposed to respond to it, and then, boom,
So
we have a new
look
one.
here, in the Solomonic economics, it's very clear how we should begin budget. Budget cannot be starting top down. Budget must start bottom up. You get me? Now go to the largest legislative place like county assembly.
Okay.
Let us know what are the needs of this area. Let's go to Taita Taveta, for example, isn't it? What are their needs? Generate these needs and then you build it up, going up, isn't it? So by the time you are getting the finance bill, the input has come not from somebody's office. Up here, it has come from Taita Taveta or a sub-county. You build it up, then now what is going to happen? You just curate by saying, okay, I know you want 10 dikes to remove this flood that takes place in Taita, which is lethal. Because I'm married from Taita Taveta, so I know how serious it is. Those are my in-laws. That's why I'm talking about it. You know where your in-laws are is where your heart is, isn't it? So when you talk about how that is affecting people, then you now focus and say, okay, now what can we do about it? Now from that, we're going to say, okay, we have only 20 billion for dams, let us give you 2 billion, you do this. So when you start right, you get it right.
All right.
When you start wrong, you get wrong. But now, Victor, allow me to say this very carefully. Remember, Kenyans have claimed that their finance bill written by IMF and World Bank, isn't it? They are saying there's an office on the 13th floor of Treasury where some people come from abroad, write the bill, they've been determining the cost of fuel and the rest, isn't it? That is not factual so far, but there's insinuation that's happening. The only way to kill that is by getting these youths, get these Bungala Wananchi people, get these elders sit down. What do you want in your area? Let them generate it bottom up. When it comes up now, the president says, okay, the watu wa Taita wanataka hivi, sivyo? Watu wa Lamu wanataka vile. Masai huku Olkalao. So from there now, you say, okay, I'm the father of the nation, isn't it? You know, a father says, this guy wants a shot for school. That one wants a bicycle. This one wants a book. Mimi, let me buy a book first, not the bicycle.
Okay, Prof.
So then you harmonize the priorities you're talking about. You harmonize the priorities, then of course you sequence them, then you deliver.
That is a very good explanation of a process.
Yeah.
But then, you know, policies are not made in a vacuum.
Of course.
They're not crafted in a vacuum. There has to be a certain window or space that these things operate. How does political dimensions affect policy making? Because now I'm asking this because now we are heading towards that space where we have got another finance bill. Of course, that's going to serve us next year. And then now we have politics playing around. So how does political dimension affect policy making? With sharp focus on Wanjiku, who is the biggest beneficiary.
Well, to be very honest and being very frank here, I don't think that some of these things are even done to the benefit of common man or Wanjiku.
Then why do we have them if...
Yes. You know, it's because you know, the style in which we choose our leaders is one that is, of course, not one that attracts the best out of ourselves. We choose leaders because one is popular, because he's a musician, another one is a comedian. We don't choose people to lead us because of the quality of what they have for us as a people. That is why the end product does not become something that is meaningful to us as a people. You've asked Prof a question before about how important the process is that leads now to the final outcome. The process is as important as the final outcome.
Yeah.
So that if we have a process that is flawed, whatever comes out in finality is something that is also flawed.
That reminds us of the petition in the Supreme Court.
Exactly.
Just Baraka said the
yes.
process.
Yes, the process is as important as the final output. So that you have leaders that are not very keen on the needs of the common man. I mean, just flash back to what happened on the year 2024 when we had the Gen Z revolution in this country. It was a situation that spoke of a leadership that was not keen on listening to the very people that had them elected into those offices. We had mobile numbers belonging to our members of parliament from the different areas. We shared them across the country. We had an initiative of sending messages to the parliamentarians so that we could warn them about the dangers of passing the finance bill of the year 2024. So what really happened ultimately is that our leader, our representatives in the National Assembly proceeded and overwhelmingly passed the finance bill of the year 2024 against the instructions of the very people that had them in those offices.
Yeah.
So what ultimately happened, we had so many deaths of young people, we had businesses destroyed, we had people even maimed, and ultimately the president had to come in and call to a stop by urging parliament to revoke the entire bill altogether. So when we want to look at the policy making in this country vis-a-vis the politics of the day, we see that there is huge influence, overbearing influence of politics on policy making.
That's true.
So that whatever succeeds as a policy document
so we should
is
set
what
precedents,
is
because
politically correct.
Then it means even the process of coming with these policies is politics itself.
And
everything is political.
Victor,
Of course,
let me just help Wakili here.
I mean,
there's the father of economics, who is a Nobel Prize winner. He's called Douglas North. He said something very interesting, and maybe that's why Wakili is banking on. He says that public sector or politics, they are never born to be efficient. They are never meant to be efficient, and therefore they are not expected to be efficient. They become what is called functional. So the state always want to show they have done something, but they have not done it. Let's say, for example, Wakili become the governor of Nairobi.
No, the MP of Kajiado North.
What?
MP of Kajiado North.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Let's say MP of Kajiado North.
Nairobi will give it to Babu Owino.
Okay.
Yes, and
fine.
Kajiado will give it to Katole Metito.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. You are campaigning, I'm sure.
No, I'm not campaigning.
Victor, you need to send him a bill, but it's fine. So let's say, for example, you become the MP of Kajiado North.
Yes.
Now, you're being told that there are rats in Kajiado North everywhere. So then you have a budget of 4 million shillings to kill all the rats in Kajiado North. But then that 4 million shillings, you need 10 million to actually finish all the rats, isn't it? So you can choose two things. One, keep this money until the next term, which means this term you're not going to kill the rats, you get the other 6 million and kill all the rats, which is the most reasonable one to do, isn't it? The second one is you can choose one part of Kajiado North and kill all the rats there, but leave them in the other side of Kajiado North, which means where you kill the rats, you'll get the votes. Where you don't kill the rats, there's no vote. But there's another scenario whereby you can kill some rats everywhere, which is useless because all of a sudden they'll be back, but then everybody feels rats have died. A politician will choose to kill some rats everywhere, not solve the problem, but end up popular by saying, but I killed some rats. In your village, I killed 2, there I killed 4. So Douglas also says that every time the public sector is faced with a situation, they tend to talk about stability. That's why William Ruto wanted the bill to pass. When Gen Zs, we went after him, he said, okay, the state is collapsing now. State must remain. So let me withdraw the bill. You get me? But then introduce it in another way. You understand? So what I'm trying to say is that this has been the problem everywhere. The only place that does not work is places like Korea. South Korea, you'll be evaluated after you leave office. You will be evaluated and given a scorecard. And you can't give your own scorecard. In Kenya, someone can stand by saying, you see, sinafanya vizuri. Simini kiongozi mzuri. You can't say this Korea. You'll be arrested. You can never self-evaluate. In Kenya, you hear the husband say, I'm the best man in the world. How can you tell your family they are the best man in the world? Your wife will be saying all your kids. So what we are trying to say, accountability will solve this problem, Victor, in an amazing way.
Yes.
I don't think, Victor, you ever said you are the best journalist, isn't it? Or you are the best news anchor. But why is it that KBC continues to present you, isn't it? It means that there's something you're saying. There's something you're doing. There's a way you know how to deal with some of us who are noisemakers here. So in the point we're talking about here, that until Wanjiku defines how public participation will be done, every time should be done for another way. And there's an African proverb which says that until the lion learns how to speak or to write, every story will be told from the point of view of the hunter.
Okay.
And until Wanjiku defines the rules of public participation, every public participation will be done with the interest of the politician.
All right. But Victor, perhaps just to say one thing.
Go ahead, yes.
The best form of public participation that the people will be involved in is during the election come the year 2027. So that if we get it wrong during that public participation, when we are influenced, or our decision of voting whoever we desire to be our representative is influenced by certain incentives in terms of either tribes, political parties or political parties affiliations, if that will be the consideration that we'll place on that ballot paper, that this one is our person, this one is from my party, then it means we will get it wrong, the whole process, we will get it wrong for the next 5 years, from 2027 to 2032. Because the people will have elected in, hoping against hope that they are going to involve us in policy making and all those things, are not going to be the best policy makers that we'll have chosen for ourselves.
Thank you. Let's start descending. We are almost landing. Pole. Now, how do we, there is that process. We've talked about the process and all that.
Yes.
So how do we stop the challenges or address the challenges from the initial stage of initial adoption to the actual implementation of the policies? There are certain challenges in between.
Yes.
One of them, you talked about public participation, which is not well facilitated. We talked about trust deficit between the Wanjiku and the policymakers and all that. So how do you address these challenges?
Victor, let me begin because I want him to comment on what I'm trying to say, because we have a solution.
Right.
At LDP, we launched what's called the Kenya Token. Kenya Token is about digitizing. Everything will have what's called digital wallets. There will be digital ledgers. Who initiated this? Who approved this? How did it go? This will help things work because we are talking about modernizing governance, making it fit for purpose to offer services. Like, for example, you are asking, who brought the bill? How did it come from? It will be documented in blockchain that you can see end to end. Who influenced it? How many Kenyans participated in it? Like now we are in court now on the sale of Safaricom. Then one lawyer argued that he's representing the whole country. Then he was asked, you are 3 lawyers here. Who knows you represent the whole country? There'll be a digital platform where Kenyans can go and say, I endorse this bill, I don't like this bill. When there's a petition in court, they usually say, how many petitions memorandum were sent in Parliament against this? And no one knows how many were. So when you digitize it, every memorandum will be deposited in that thing. It will be digitized. So Kenya Token, which we launched, it's not just about mobilizing money for investing in economy. It's also modernizing government. Let me tell you what, Victor. With the Kenya Token being implemented according to the vision we have, corruption will be impossible completely. Every Kenyan has a phone. Instead of watching WhatsApp group of people insulting each other, they'll be going there and say, oh, this bill came from here. Wakili generated this bill. Like now, do you know your MP how many bills he's presented?
He has never presented even one.
Yeah, so now you are saying that because
his work is just saying nay and
yeah, so people
yes.
won't believe you until we digitize how every MP is participating, how is Wanjiku being involved, which bill came from Kajiado North, isn't it? Which one came from Kilifi South? Which one came from Magarini? You'll find now that everything is visible. Victor, without transparency, we cannot allow Wanjiku to participate. Without knowledge, there'll be a phone that is going to help people. Go to Rwanda. This thing happened in Rwanda. In Rwanda, things are digitized. And Rwanda is a small country that punches above its weight. Kenya is more powerful. They don't have broadband. Go network. Internet in Rwanda is weaker. It's a landlocked country, so they can't have broadband the way we have. Yet for us, we have stable power. We have broadband technology, and we can do this. So technology will solve this problem somehow, Victor.
Yeah.
But technology cannot solve the problem alone. We also want to get good leaders, like you said. Maybe Wakili, I'll look at your CV after this, and I'll tell the people of Kajiado not to vote. Remember, I have interest in Kajiado. I have some business there. So I'll tell the people there to vote for you, if you
to employ locals.
Okay.
No, they have been employed. Actually, they must hire the most people working there. So
No, Kajiado North, it's cosmopolitan.
Very
So,
good. We are almost landing.
Yes, yes.
1,000.
Probably a solution.
Yes.
Now, I mean, for us to establish the appropriate solution for this problem, it's important that we reflect on where we have come from as a country. So the problems we've been having since the time we gained our independence have been illiteracy, poverty, and disease. So illiteracy is one big challenge that we have, to this minute, we have refused either by our own deliberate volition to address as a people.
Yeah.
Because we've made education very expensive and inaccessible to all and sundry. So the point that I'm trying to make is this, that as a form of providing a solution to this challenge is by ensuring that we educate the people. And we educate the people by supporting certain groups that come forth by way of volunteering to educate the masses that we have within the Republic of Kenya. For instance, we have these public benefit organizations, the NGOs. For instance, Sharia Mtani, what we've been doing, we've just been ensuring that we make legal knowledge available to the people by enlightening them on the shortcomings, the do's and the don'ts that have been done by their representatives.
Yeah.
So by highlighting, as Professor has mentioned, that for example, we bring to the table a motion related to the performance of the area MP of Kajiado North. Now, we make mention, we highlight for the benefit of the people, what are the obligations of a member of parliament? What are the obligations of an MCA? By highlighting the obligations that they have, then we ask, now, having in mind their obligations under law, now let us check or review their record for the past 4 years they have been in office. Have they managed to do what they were elected to do as a people? So we leave the answer or the answering to those questions to the people so that the people can respond for themselves whether their representatives have done what they were actually elected to do. The issue we've been having in the country, especially when it comes to these elective roles that we have, is that we elect people to do certain things, but they end up doing different things that are totally unrelated to their office. And yet they want an applause from what they are doing. Largely because
That's almost the same thing Prof said, that you want to seem that you've done something in the real sense you've not done it.
Exactly.
Then you say that we are doing something.
Exactly. Because they find that people that are not well or properly informed about their objectives. For instance, we see a situation where MPs across the country take a lot of pride in whatever the NGCDF is doing. Well, there is nothing wrong with that. The NGCDF is a creation of the law. It's a committee that works independently from the office of the Member of Parliament. But you will always see, often and even always, an MP handing over the check and saying that I have given you a check of 5 million. I have given you bursaries of 7 million. So, well, in reality, even in circumstances where we have had members of parliament die in certain constituencies. I mean, we just had by-elections of about 5 constituencies the other day. Does it mean that for the period of time these people were unrepresented in parliament, their children or their constituencies did not benefit from the funds that have been allocated for that NGCDF? The true position is this, is that even in the absence of a member of parliament, the NGCDF will still continue to operate. The work of the member of parliament will be to ensure proper oversight of the resources that have been allocated to this committee in the constituency. But when you get into this unholy alliance, we have the NGCDF manager working in committee with the member of parliament to ensure that we have a pilferage, we have theft of public resources, or we have mismanagement of public resources. So that the people do not really get value for the money that has been allocated in certain projects. You get a classroom that has been painted or a walls built. It has cost about 2 or 1 million shillings. You get a fence, like in Ngong, we have a fence there that has Sengenge, this barbed wire, that has been built using 3 million shillings from the public resources. So these are things that...
How big is that plot?
It's a small thing. I mean, Sengenge for 3 million is a lot of money. So if at all we were really serious about the roles and responsibilities we have assigned to our leaders, it means we should be keen on having proper oversight. Last week, Sheria Mtani wrote to Kera and Kura. We wrote to them a letter and told them that, well, we've been seeing roads being constructed by the national government. And our area MP has been taking photographs and images of these roads to take credit from them. Well, there is no problem. Let him take credit for all it's worth.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is this. We are having roads being built without pavements and footpaths, so that the roads are now congested. We have pedestrians on the road, we have cyclists, we have motorists, we have everybody on the road. This is a disaster in waiting. It means that if this situation is left as it is, then in the fullness of time, we shall be fundraising for someone who has been knocked down by a vehicle. We will be doing a funeral fundraiser for someone who has died, because of some a fatal accident. So for us to curb some of these extremes, it is important that the people we elect in office, instead of taking photographs against these roads, they should be the first ones asking, so where is the pedestrian walk?
I just have a question. So was that fence, was it done with the gold chain or something?
I mean,
3 million, Prof.
3 million shillings for a Sengenge.
For a Sengenge, that's like a gold chain.
Yes, and the MP was there taking a photo and telling the people that it is important to fence the police station.
Let me just ask this question.
Yes.
So let's talk about, because we are in a democratic nation. So how does policy making or policies we make affect democracy? As we land, we are now landing now, coming to the end of the show. Prof.
Yeah, you see, the father of management and the father of strategy, who is called Andrew Chandler, said, structure follows strategy, no strategy follows structure. But in Africa, mostly, we start with the structure before strategy. Politicians being able to be the ones to initiate and implement policy, it is putting the cart before the horse. The only time things will change is when it is the other way around. When we shall have what I would call like Copernican revolution, where we will have now the citizens coming to present what they want and the practice. Because if you talk about how does politics affect policy, policy should affect politics, not the other way around. Because what is policy? Policy should drive the political agenda of the country. For example, under Kibaki, today is 5th of September, right? 5th of May. Sorry. I was confusing 9th and this. On 9th of this month, at UON, there will be Kibaki lectures taking place in memory of the third president on his economic ideology. I've sent a video there talking about what Kibaki got right. Kibaki gave people opportunity. And the policy of the Vision 2030 was now going to drive politics. But then some people took over, and now they put the policy behind, and politics took center stage. Now, BBI, was it a policy or it was politics?
Both.
One side. No, it was more politics than policy. So, Vision 2030, it was supposed to drive the agenda until 2030, isn't it? We have the Agenda 4. Was Agenda 4 policy or it was politics? I get my point. So we had a policy which was Vision 2030. China did their 50-year plan. You get me? America did a 100-year plan. South Korea. So if you say, I want to have Kenyans, everybody being middle class by 2030, that was a vision that could now be implemented with several policies to ensure it works. So politics was supposed to serve the policy and the vision, not that our vision is that so-and-so should lead. And I end my question, Kenyans. We should be asking what's the process to get people to leadership, not who should lead. And now we're asking now, who will run? No. The issue is, what's the process to get a candidate for this area? What's the process to get which party to take us there?
A better way to stop. Thank you, Prof. He's talked about politics and policy.
Yes.
So, which means proper politics can affect policies.
Of course.
But now, The process
Bad
is
politics.
Bad politics, actually. So how does it affect democracy? And can we solve it in 1 minute if you can?
Well, I think it's very difficult to distinguish between, the coming up with
Because some of these things are political.
Yes, yes. All of them, they are just intertwined. It's only that in Africa, we make politics look like a very bad thing, largely because of the bad choices that we make as a people.
Yeah.
In fact, the originators of policies should be politicians. They should help us in coming up with policies that are going to change the lives of our people, because the assumption always is that the politicians interact very closely with the people that elected them into office.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is the assumption. So it means that if the people are suffering from certain difficulties, then the very people who will have answers will be the very people who interact with the very people that are affected by these problems. So politics is not a bad thing. Politics is a good thing. In fact, it should be there to help us in solving all our problems by the formulation of the best policies that will get us out of our problems.
And when you get to Kajiado North, make sure that you give
Victor,
good policies that is going to
Victor,
get
before
Kajiado
you
North
get
and Kenya.
let him understand what democracy is not just the right to vote, but also the right to get the services, which is a product of the vote.
Thank you very much. That's a better way to stop this discussion. I'm so humbled. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. Shadrack Komboy, an advocate of the High Court, anamezea mate Kajiado North. Wish you all the best.
No, ni watu unajua tunaangalia mahali kuna shida, we solve those problems.
Hakuna. That's another political language.
Hapana.
Ameze mate. Prof, thank you so much. He's also LDP presidential aspirant 2027. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming to the show. As Wanjiko, thank you so much for watching. I'm Victor Lo. Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya.
Good morning.
You know what amazing, man?
Welcome back to Semana Spokes from the Nagava.
Semana Spokes is the platform where Wananchi engage, query the government, and the government responds. It's your time to be informed. Don't miss Bonga Nagava every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Semana Spokes.
Oh, it's burning! Oh, that's burning! Oh, the purse! Grab a stick! It's dangerous! Quick! The purse!
Why do you want money so much lately?
To take care of you.
Why do you have to be so hard on yourself?
But learning a language is a long-term process. You need to put in the work. But by that time, you'll probably be too old.
In a world where news is ever-changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1. Looking to advertise on KBC? KBC announcement services are now available on eCitizen. Visit kbc.ecitizen.go.ke and fill out the online application form. It's simple. 1. Complete the form. 2. Upload required documents. 3. Receive a quotation based on word count. And 4. Get notified via SMS when your announcement is ready. Please note, clearly indicate the type of announcement, service station, and all relevant details. 2. All applications must be made online only. Manual submissions will not be accepted. And 3. Announcements will air after news bulletins. For assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc.co.ke KE. Or use our social media handles, Facebook, your Facebook account, and X at your X account. Or you can call us on 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124. KBC announcements. Simple, fast, and digital.
Most definitely, you're still watching KBC Channel 1. Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Medwin. Now, at a time when the country is advancing an ambitious economic transformation reforms under the bottom-up economic agenda and positioning itself within the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, one question that refuses to go away is, why are we still exporting raw potential instead of finished value? Now, the Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis is convening its 9th annual regional conference to confront that gap, and it will be bringing together policymakers, industry, even researchers together to see how to strengthen value chains and unlock inclusive growth within the country, which now forms the basis of our conversation today, which is advancing the development of value chains. And I'm having that conversation with Dr. Elder Onsom, who is the Executive Director, Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
How are you doing this morning?
Quite good.
Yes. Let's get into the conversation, and we'll start with matters to do with this 9th regional conference that is coming up on strengthening value chains. Why is KIPRA holding that conference?
The Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis is the think tank in Kenya. We are under the State Department for Economic Planning, which is under the National Treasury. One of our core mandates is to undertake objective public policy research and analysis. This year, we have undertaken evidence generation and objective research, which is aimed at informing policy and interventions on value chains development. This is quite important because as a nation, we are looking at interventions that enhance productivity, competitiveness, job creation, especially for the youth. Hence, the 9th KIPRA Annual Regional Conference 2026, which is themed Enhancing Value Chains Development for Sustainable Economic Development and Growth, comes in at a very critical moment when the nation is undergoing very positive economic transformation aimed at enhancing the development of the nation, job creation, ensuring that we enhance our industries. We also enhance our services that we produce so that the economy remains resilient and also attains the economic transformation that we are looking at this given point in time.
And also, when you look at it, is it also a response in some way to productivity in key sectors like agriculture, manufacturing, or it's also a way of responding to global pressures like value chain interruptions?
In the national agenda, where we have clear direction in our Kenya Vision 2030, which is being implemented through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda and the medium-term plan for value chains development is one of the priority areas of our nation. This then means, as a main think tank in the country, the Institute took it as a priority to undertake objective research, which is aimed at informing value chains development. In this objective research, the Institute has been able to look at key sectors, including agriculture, industry, digital economy, as well as the global value chains. As you are aware, no nation can enhance sustainably without exporting. Hence, as an institute, we have looked comprehensively in the aspects that we have to invest in to ensure that we remain resilient, we remain competitive, and we remain productive, both in the national level, county level, and globally.
Is that a way for KIPRA to help in, implementing a policy perspective and advancing value chain development in Kenya?
Yes, it is. And it goes deeper to enhance development at all levels of the economy. As a nation, we are guided by long-term and medium-term plans. Both of these plans have identified productivity as a key area of intervention, and hence value addition at every node of production in all the sectors of the economy, starting from agriculture, manufacturing, and emerging sectors, which include blue economy. We also have the digital space, clean energy, among others. Further, the undertaking also looks at the skills gaps and areas of skills development to take the nation to the next level of development, because as a nation and as we develop, we need high-level technology skills that will help our nation to invest and develop products that can be exported both in the regional space and also in...
Repositioning Kenya within the regional value chains like the CFTA and fixing domestic inefficiencies.
To a large extent, the interventions that are being proposed within the evidence we have generated identifies the key pointers and the key sectors where Kenya has a comparative advantage, both in Africa and in the region. These include, for instance, investing in digital economy, in services which are quite resilient, in value addition, in the processing of our key export products, such as tea, coffee, horticultural products, among others, and in the pro-economy, including the livestock. Kenya has one of the best quality of these products, which as we invest in value addition, then we'll be able to enhance the competitiveness of the country, both at the national and the county level, while ensuring economic transformation, sustained growth, and resilience in development.
KIPRA produces research, but where can you, Daktari, point to policy uptake that has measurably transformed a value chain within the country?
A number of areas, starting with the coffee sector. The Institute has worked with the stakeholders in the coffee sector, which at some point was in a downward side. But as we talk, it's one of the sectors where the returns are the highest. And this was direct impact because the Institute, through its staff, was able to guide policy and also guide the stakeholders on where we need to invest in so that we are able to improve on our economic productivity in the sector. Other areas include in the digital economy, in skills development, and here we are looking at sectors and the future of work, where the Institute has identified and informed policy, including the reforms that are going on, in where we should invest in skills development to have adequate human capital for the nation at both national and county level. Another area is in the effect of trade. As you've indicated, in the African trade space, Kenya is a country to watch because our products in the region and also locally. Another area is in the beef sector, livestock, because the quality also matters, and hence as we undertake the work which we are doing, we are giving deeper recommendations, evidence to inform practice and also enhance the interventions that the government and other stakeholders are putting in place, including the role of public-private partnerships, especially in investing in manufacturing, processing, and also job creation. Another area also is in the micro and small enterprises. From the evidence we've generated, we find that one of the main gaps when it comes to value chain processing and production is uptake of skills and uptake of new technologies. So you find the small and micro enterprises and the smallholder farmers may be lacking in terms of financial support as well as technology. And hence the evidence which we've generated informs the areas of intervention in those sectors to improve competitiveness.
And when you look at KIPRA's work, how do you bridge the gap between policy recommendation and county level implementation, because that is where most value chains now operate?
As an institute, we took it upon our mandate to ensure that we undertake research not only at the national level, but then targeted at the county level. For all the products that we are working on, we are producing county level policy briefs, whereby each county we identify at least the 3 priority products where they can focus on in terms of value chain development. And this has been going on because most of the work we have done targets both the national and the county level. We've produced policy briefs which focus on creating an enabling environment for counties, youth employment across counties, climate change across counties, and also the Public Administration Index, which looks at how the counties are performing. This is a key intervention because then our policy advisory support to the government goes beyond the national government to the county governments.
Very important. And when you look at the country, you know, we have advancement of value chain and development of the same. But how can you say the country is advancing its value chain under the current policy frameworks?
The current policy frameworks, guided by the Kenya Vision 2030, the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, and the medium enhancing and developing value chains in every sector and in every product. This then means the work we are doing is to support this national policy direction, which is very critical in the economic transformation of our great nation, Kenya. I go deeper to give an example of the products that are highlighted in these key documents and how they link with the work we are doing. For instance, when you look at the main cash crops, I mentioned about tea, coffee. We also have production of beef, which we export. We have production of services, particularly in the digital economy, which has also helped the economy to remain quite resilient and ensure that it's quite competitive both in the local space and also in the global space. When you look at all these products, among all the other products in the medium-term plan 4, it is very explicit that as an institution, we are contributing directly to the interventions and the policy commitments that the government has already identified.
And when you look at these frameworks, the ones you've mentioned, Vision 2030, bottom-up economic transformation agenda and others, what do you think? Are they aligned or fragmented when it comes to value chains?
They are very aligned with the value chains development. And they are also aligned with the sector policies, like in the agriculture sector, both crop production and also livestock production. And now we have the blue economy and also the green economy. And as a nation, when you look at the production processes, because in value chains, what you are focusing mainly on is what value are you adding, right from production to processing to the level of consumption. And here you look at the areas of logistics, marketing, improving the inputs, and also ensuring that when the production is ripe, it does not go to waste. Ensuring also that we have a strong circular economy whereby even the products that are wasted, they are recycled back to be productive and enhance the economy in terms of productivity, which then means as we do all this, the areas of skills development become very, very critical. And in all the policies that are being put in place, they are aligned with the provisions in value chains development.
And which value chains, from your perspective, are usually are seeing actual measurable upgrading? For instance, when it comes, is it those which are stuck at raw export level?
We start with the investments in agriculture broadly. As we export and produce,
yes.
There is effort being put in terms of processing. Take an example of our tea sector. It's a sector which is quite well represented across the country, and the products we produce and export are processed locally, which means our tea is one of the best teas in the world. And if you travel across the world, you'll find that that plant is already there. Another product is coffee. We also have our beef sector, which is related to the leather sector, which is also key because in the leather sector, you are able to process the byproducts of beef to a very high quality final product that is consumed locally and also internationally. Also, when it comes to textile, there we also have a comparative advantage. And all the crops that we produce and how they are processed, we have a comparative advantage because as they are coming out of the farm, we are able to identify the nodes where the jobs are being created, where the quality is being enhanced, and then improving their productivity so that when they go to the market, there is high value that both the producers and also the logistics team obtain, and hence enhanced competitiveness and productivity.
You know, incentivizing a local value addition is critical, especially if we are to enhance and develop value chains. So my question to you here is, are current policies incentivizing local value addition, or are we still exporting low value commodities?
The first area of incentivizing production is at the production level. And the government, with the support from various stakeholders, has enhanced this level of entry, particularly in agricultural production where the inputs such as fertilizers are provided to farmers. This is a key input because once you have high quality produce given due to the provision of fertilizers, then you remain competitive and the value addition is enhanced. After the production, then you go to the logistics where interventions have also been put with an aim of enhancing productivity and competitiveness. Then we go to the area of processing. This is where the private sector has also invested through institutions like the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, the KEPSA, among others, where the smallholder processing agencies and companies are supported. And this also touches on how you enhance the productivity through the skills required, heavy investments in machinery, ensuring that what is produced does not go to waste, and ensuring that the markets are assured, both locally and internationally, for the produce.
And you know, incentivizing local value addition is important, especially when we have to talk about inclusive development, which brings me to my next question. I want you to talk about why strengthening value chains is critical for achieving inclusive development in the country.
Value chains is the driver of value addition. When we talk value chains, it means you are looking at the entire chain, right from production, processing, logistics, to consumption. In every node, various activities take place. And when these activities are taking place, they demand inputs. And one of the main input is labor, which then means in inclusive growth and development, value chains create jobs, key jobs that are required by the economy and particularly by the youth and across the individual counties, because if you are able to invest in the priority products where there is comparative advantage, be it in agriculture, manufacturing, or in services, then you are able to create jobs and ensure that livelihoods are improved. Another critical provision there is the capacities that are developed to ensure that as we go along the value chains, there's nobody left behind. This then brings up counties and also regions that might have been left behind due to one reason or another. Another provision there is logistics. When you look at the logistics sector, it is very key because it touches on digital space, communication, marketing, and ensuring that the produce is able to move from the point of production to the final area of consumption, which then means across all those nodes, the inclusivity and also resilience and development is enhanced through productivity and competitiveness of products.
Yeah, we also have to, within that actors, how do we ensure that they are not locked out by standards, financing, or technology barriers?
The first entry point is ensuring that we have standards. In every product, and that's why we have institutions like the KBC, whereby the standards are developed and enforced. These institutions ensure that whatever produce you have before it enters the market, its quality is assured. Further, investments are put in technology development, uptake, and ensuring that the entire team that is involved in the production process is kept abreast with emerging technologies. Take, for example, a sector like the blue economy, where the produce is very, very fragile and it can get spoiled within a very short time. This requires development of cooling stations, and that is an area for investment, particularly to support smallholder farmers who are in the blue economy and who are producing very high quality produce from the blue economy that can be consumed across board in the country and also able to move the same produce from the country to other parts of the region and across the globe.
And when you look at value chains and the development of the same that we are talking about, are they reducing regional inequality or deepening it? What do you think?
They are reducing regional inequality to a very big extent. As we talk here, every county has identified key drivers in terms of their products. And investing in those products simply means that you are enhancing the areas where a county has comparative advantage. And with the devolution that the country has implemented through the Constitution 2010, it has enhanced the reduction in inequalities across the country. And this is by region, by also income groups, and also categories of our population. This can be observed through the level of livelihoods. For instance, if you go across the country, you can see very many developments, right from road construction. There's also production of construction materials, which are very key in reducing inequalities. Another area where the value chains, for instance, in digital space have enhanced reducing in high-end technology skills and also technology products, as well as green energy, which is very important in production across the various value chains. This then means that development of value chains enhances development and reduces or eradicates inequalities.
And speaking of inequalities, you know, youth unemployment is something that the country has to deal with. But I would want to understand the link between value chains and youth employment. Where do they meet?
They meet right from the production process. I start with agriculture. Agriculture remains one of the drivers of job creation in the country, which then means looking at the value chains of production of every product, they require different skills. There are those involved in production, those involved in managing the processes, those who are involved in processing itself, and a number of youth are involved in that space. There are also youth who are involved in producing green energy, particularly like from livestock, which is a key product and input to any production process. The youth are also involved in the processing space, which is key in the various value chains, as well as in SMEs and in creation of applications, for instance, in the digital value chains, where the country is doing quite well in skills development and also in exporting the products from our digital economy.
And when you look at value chain development in the country, what can you say are the major pain points affecting that development?
The first gap is the link between producers and the consumers. And this is where logistics interventions become very, very important. For instance, when we have high levels of harvest in one part of our country, we should have strong marketing and logistics frameworks to market this product to the areas where we might be experiencing incidents like droughts or floods. Another key area of intervention is on skills uptake and technology uptake. This requires continued training of producers. To counter this, various applications are being used, particularly in the livestock sector, whereby the extension farmers can now access all the upcoming technologies in production across the various products through the digital space. That is an area for strengthening as well. Another area is to ensure that capacity is deepened and no one is left behind. There are also external shocks which come along, particularly with the geopolitical space, whereby the value chains tend to be disrupted, not only in Kenya, but across the globe. But to counter that, resilience mechanisms then become very, very important. And as a nation, the production space has ensured that the country remains resilient, and also through the services sector, where you are able to ensure continued income generation and improve the livelihoods that are sustainable.
You know, Kipra has convened at the 9th Regional Conference on Value Chain Development in Kenya. What do you aim to achieve from this?
The 9th Kipra Annual Regional Conference, which will be taking place between 20th and the 22nd of May 2026 in Mombasa County, is one of its kind. This is a conference that is going to bring together key stakeholders in various value chains that are priority in the nation, across the national and the county governments. The conference is going to bring together stakeholders from the government, private sector, non-state actors, development partners, and also the smallholder farmers and institutions, as well as the youth. The aim first is to ensure that we provide a very robust and productive space for dialogue, whereby the various stakeholders and participants will be exchanging, discussing evidence that they have generated to inform policy. This then will lead to informing objective interventions to improve productivity, competitiveness, job creation, resilience, poverty reduction in the country. In the long term, it is aimed that the interventions that we'll come up with will not only create quality jobs for the youth, but also improve productivity and competitiveness of our great nation across the various value chains that we'll be focusing on.
What are the areas will this conference be addressing?
The conference will be addressing all the value chains as spelled out in the medium-term plan 4. This starts from production in agriculture, in manufacturing, in services. We'll be looking at the areas of policy and legislative frameworks, areas of data, artificial intelligence, and the various ecosystems that relate to the digital economy. We'll be looking at the blue economy, green energy, and the green sector. We shall also be looking at human capital development and skills development for the various value chains. We'll go further to look at key products, for instance, the cash crops like tea, coffee. We have livestock as well. We also have products that are indigenous in nature but very key like vegetables. We'll go further to look at the trade, the global trade, the wholesale and retail value chains. We look at the role of smallholder farmers as well as the micro and small enterprises. We'll also look at the areas of the creative economy, the media, as well as knowledge sharing, and where we should put more emphasis on to ensure that the knowledge we also create has been supported to ensure that impact is felt across board, both at the national and the county level. We'll also look at the areas of the grey economy, which I've indicated is on the digital space, which is very important, and how to uptake technologies across the various nodes of the value chains that we'll be discussing.
And also, when you look at private sector and the county government, how are you going to incorporate them into actual decision making, not just on participation aspect?
That is an ongoing process. In every work that we do at the Institute, we engage with the stakeholders. Mm-hmm. As we are working on this evidence we have generated, it was generated from the counties and also from the various stakeholders, both the public and the private. Mm-hmm. So the stakeholders are already involved in evidence generation. We do hold workshops, seminars, where we discuss these preliminary findings, and we ensure that for each sector, the key stakeholders are invited to attend and even propose the areas of intervention, which then means the conference will be bringing together these stakeholders to come to a convergence in the policy interventions, the programs that we have to then implement from the evidence we have generated, and also the way forward, which means we work with the various stakeholders right from the design of our work all the way to the conclusion, dissemination, and also implementation and the design of interventions.
Mm-hmm. Are there tangible outcomes and long-term impacts that you hope will come from this conference?
One of the tangible output will be the communique that we'll be producing. This is a way of communicating the decisions from the stakeholders who will be attending the conference. This communique will be shared with all the stakeholders, and it will highlight the responsibility holders and the action areas and areas of intervention. We'll then be able to use this evidence, which will be coming from the research we've done and also from the discussions, to ensure that we identify areas, for instance, for capacity development, and the stakeholders who will be coming will also be encouraged to pick areas and recommendations to design their own interventions for productivity enhancement, competitiveness, and also in the areas of intervention, particularly in job creation and ensuring that the economy remains resilient. In the long term, we envisage that this work is going to be a game changer in terms of enhancing productivity of our nation, reducing poverty, ensuring that we remain resilient in the regional and also in the global space, ensuring that we create jobs, especially for the youth, and also ensuring that as we do production processes, we reduce on wastage and ensure that all that we produce is contributing to the sustainable development of our great nation, Kenya.
Is there a way that you will track whether the outcome of this 9th annual conference will actually lead to export growth, job creation, or value chain addition? Are there metrics that you will use to gauge on those aspects based on the outcomes of the conference?
In the various pieces of work we have done, and under each research evidence, we have an area where we focus on policy recommendations, implications, and the action area, which then means as we go to the conference and what we'll be coming up with, we shall be able to continuously engage with the stakeholders, both at the national and the county level, to see what has been implemented and the uptake level, whereas we ensure that we create impact at the areas where we have focused on.
And as we close, what is your call to action to stakeholders who are participating in this upcoming conference?
First, the call of action is, as a nation, the value chains have greatest potential of unlocking our sustainable development opportunities, and the opportunities are enormous. Job creation is also being created through the areas we are focused on. I also want to urge all those who will be participating, both at the ground, when we'll be on the ground, and also those who will be watching the content that we are developing, that you pick at least one area of intervention so that we are able to enhance productivity in your area of specialization for the benefit of our great nation through enhanced competitiveness, productivity, and job creation.
Thank you so much, Daktari, for making time to come and talk about this issue. We have been speaking to Daktari Elda Onsomo, who is the Executive Director, Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis, about matters of advancing the development of value chain within the country. That will be covered in the upcoming 9th annual conference that will be happening in Mombasa later this month. This conversation ends now. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Mike Migwi. I'll be back with another conversation this time round on Health Tuesday, and we are tackling immunization, financing, and policy. Stay with us.
Hi, my name is DJ Alicia. I'm a musician, DJ, and an actress.
J'aime la paix, vive la paix. Matunda kweli yafana kwa afya dunia nzima.
Or what games do you love to play? In today's book, we meet a character called Mia. And Mia has a puppy that she loves so much.
Today I'm going to show you how to make chicken nuggets. They have a nice golden brown color and they also have a nice crisp.
Tunajidai na lugha sanifu ya Kiswahili.
Leo tutashiriki njooni mwenda sisi. Sanaa ya Kiswahili leo imetufikia sisi.
Ni heri nikose usingizi baadaye kwa kuhitimu kimasomo.
Adhabu kali inapowekwa pahali popote pale husimama kama funzo kwa wahalifu wengine.
Unda majina mawili kutokana na vitenzi vifuatavyo. Ridhi.
Tunapata mridhi.
Tambua kishazi katika sentensi hii. Mbuzi walioibwa jana wamepatikana salama. Tambua kishazi. Naona Maria uko tayari.
Walioibwa.
Makinika, cheki wanafunzi wanavyozikwenda, utaona wengine wafanya hivi, wengine sijui wafanya hivi, wengine ni hapa.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible
Yes.
to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
KBC Channel 1, and we are glad that you are still with us. Time now for Health Tuesday, and today we are looking at immunization, financing and policy. Now, for decades, Kenya's immunization program has been quietly saving millions of lives, and it was largely backed by donor funding. However, that safety net seems to be shrinking, because by 2029, Kenya will largely be on its own. So the question here is no longer about whether vaccines work. It's more about, can we afford to keep delivering them? Are we prepared for the post-donor era, or are we staring at a slow and silent reversal progress? That is a conversation, or the basis of our conversation today, which regards immunization, financing and policy. And I'm having that conversation with Alan Miheso, who is a programs officer at Health NGOs Network. Karibu sana.
Thank you for
How are you doing this morning?
Doing very well. Thank
yes. You know, we have seen recently that Kenyan lawmakers are pushing for stronger local funding for immunization as the country prepares to transition from the support by Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, by 2029. So what does transitioning from donor support actually mean in real financial terms for Kenya today?
Okay, thank you. The first, maybe I give a background.
Yes.
The reason why we are transitioning is because Kenya moved from a low-income country to a low-medium-income country in 2014, and that is because of the classification, the World Bank classification of the economic rebase of countries. And one of the reasons that we had to transition is because of the economic prosperity that the country was witnessing at the moment. And therefore, the transition from low-income country to low-middle-income country comes with the challenges such as now donor transition. So Gavi's policy does not allow it to continue supporting immunization services in countries that are under the category of low-middle-income countries. And therefore, in 2029, Kenya should be ready to take up the full immunization cost at the moment.
What does it mean for the country when we reach at that point? What will it mean?
That will mean we need to be very creative on how we are raising revenues and be deliberate on how we are going to allocate finances towards immunization.
From where you stand, why is it that we have taken immunization as immunization financing as something that needs support, especially on foreign support?
Maybe the way it was transitioned or captured at the initial planning stage, Gavi came in as a savior, especially on addressing issues of children not having fully immunized. They are called zero-dose children, others are half-immunized children. So the zero-dose are the ones that have not received any vaccination. So the donor came in to salvage us from the high rate of children that had not gotten vaccination.
Yes.
And the reason why the donor came in mostly is when children miss vaccines, they are prone to chronic diseases such as polio. There are those who die from tuberculosis if they do not get the diphtheria vaccine. So there are different dynamics around it. And also looking at hard-to-reach areas, looking at counties that are far-end like Wajir, Mandera, where healthcare facilities are not also that close to the community. So it came in as a savior, especially to those kind of communities where children also are missing out on routine vaccination. So the donor came in as a savior, but then now having strengthened our systems, and also with the devolution coming in, counties now having to taking up service delivery of immunization services, I think we are in a better trajectory to continue now moving on with sustaining our own immunization need.
Yeah. And from where you sit, are we having a honest national conversation about the implications of transitioning away from donor support, or are we downplaying it? Very true. We would say with this current regime, especially with the new CS coming into the docket of the health docket, he has been very deliberate about immunization financing. If you look at the MOH statement on April 24th, yes, they had a meeting with Gavi, some representatives of Gavi, and you could see that the Ministry of Health has deliberately allocated Kenya shillings 4.6 billion towards vaccine procurement, and then 2.6 billion, an extra of 2.6 billion towards the co-financing. Yes. Maybe just to give a background on co-financing as well is Kenya has an agreement with Gavi where Kenya pays a share of the co-financing, and then Gavi pays the balance. So it is Kenya to pay the co-financing, and then we pay to UNICEF, because UNICEF is the standard body that is used to procure vaccines because of quality and also reduced prices. So when Kenya pays the co-financing money to UNICEF, UNICEF tells Gavi Kenya has paid its co-financing share, and then now Gavi pays the balance. So the current administration allowed it for being very deliberate, and also for increasing the immunization budget. All along, for the last 3 financial years, our immunization budget has always been 4.6 billion, but at the moment it's at 7.2. So you can see there is some traction towards allocating more resources towards immunization and sustainability. So in a way, we have been underfunding immunization to some extent. Yeah. Just because in the background we knew there is a percentage the donor is giving us. And now that is changing. Now, from your engagement across the region, what can you say? Is Kenya behind or ahead when you compare it to other transitioning countries when it comes to immunization financing? I would say we are a bit lagging behind, and the reason is because we do not have a transition plan at the moment. Other countries, the likes of Zambia and Nigeria, have an immunization transition plan. They already know what is the costed plan when the donor leaves, how much is their immunization need, what is the approximate age, approximate population of children to be born by then, and what will it cost the nation. So it's something that at the moment the country is still not yet there, but I hope with continuous engagement and with such discussions we might get the attention of policymakers to start looking at how are we going to develop a transition plan, because we are 3 years shy of the Gavi transition. Because I'm asking that because we need immunization as a preventive care, preventive health care, because that is one area that struggles to attract political financing compared to curative services. And as you have said, Kenya has allocated 2.6 billion for Gavi co-financing, which of course looks very committed, and also it's geared towards getting ready, towards taking responsibility when it comes to immunization financing and policy in the country. And given that we are moving ahead in that direction, my question to you would be, why does preventive healthcare like immunization struggle to attract and sustain political financing compared to curative services? I would say it is the orientation of the political class and also what Kenyans expect from politicians. I would go with immunization, allow me to call it a software, because it's not seen. Yes. Immunization, vaccination, nutrition are maybe software programs that might not attract a lot of political goodwill, but they are very important.
as opposed now to the hardware where a politician will build a healthcare facility, even if it is not resourced, but it gives them a lot of political mileage on the front that I build this healthcare facility. So it's an issue of just trying to bring in community, the leaders, and also the media to start changing the orientation, our thinking around healthcare investments, especially on these that might not be seen, but they are very effective.
You know, the Kenya 2010 Constitution, decentralized health delivery. In other words, it devolved health services to the county level in a bit to enhance responsiveness. But in practice, has it fractured immunization in terms of financing?
Not really. The initial organization on immunization procurement was to be done at the counties, but then because of quality and also reducing the expenses that go into vaccine procurement, the national government took up the responsibility of procuring the vaccines, and that is why we are talking of the Gavi co-financing, because now the national government takes care of the procurement of the vaccines at the national level, bring the vaccines to the regional stores, and then now the counties can pick the vaccine from the regional store. However, we have to agree that there are funding gaps at the county, because immunization is ramped up in reproductive, maternal, newborn child health. So it is a component of the RAMCA strategy, especially when it comes to financing. So you will see more resources are allocated to RAMCA, and then now the sub-programs, there is immunization, nutrition, all that. So they get a very small percentage at the county. And then now you see the county bears the burden of service delivery. So they have to take the vaccines from the regional store and distribute to the lowest level facility in the community. So the funding at the county is a bit low because now it also comes with resource, human resource, it comes with hard stock, syringes, all that. So the counties also need to start taking up the challenge of increasing their immunization budgets for those that have, and for those that do not have an immunization budget, to start thinking of introducing an immunization budget, so that by the time also the national government is transitioning from Gavi support, the counties are able also to sustain the small bits that they have done.
Because this is serious, because counties are charged with delivering the last mile immunization to the people. But from what you've seen, who should be held responsible when it comes to allocating enough immunization finance to ensure that there is an undeterred last mile immunization delivery?
This is a collective responsibility. I will talk of the executive, especially the county treasury and the Ministry of Health, and the Department of Health at the county. They should be very deliberate in allocating money towards immunization services. But then also just to bring to your attention that the challenge that has been at both the two ministries, both at the national and the counties, we might allocate the money, but now the other issue becomes the disbursement. So you might find the treasuries are not releasing the money on time, and therefore the last mile delivery also vaccines becomes affected. So it should be a collaborative effort between the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of the Treasury at the county and the national level as well.
And should vaccine delivery remain devolved if counties left to the national government, or just?
I would think they should remain, because the counties also now, there are new other innovative funding models that are coming at the counties, like the FIF, the Facility Improvement Fund. We have the PHC fund that is also supporting healthcare facilities at the local level. So we can look at how are the facility improvement funds. Can we have a percentage, like 2% allocated towards immunization service delivery? So it's just a matter of prioritization of budgets.
You said something about new innovative funding models. If you can talk about those.
At the moment, the counties have the Facility Improvement Fund. It is a constitutional mandate that they should have. Now, the challenge maybe that comes in with the counties is most counties do not have regulations that are guiding the facility improvement funds on how they are to be used. But it's a good fund that can be used to improve general healthcare service at the county, not only immunization, but now it can also help in having human resource on board, buy a vehicle to do distribution of, do outreaches. Like a county like Baringo and Isiolo have been very deliberate on doing outreaches because of the pastoralist, the migrant communities in the region. So you will find the Ministry of Health use the mobile clinics, go to the villages to reach out to people and administer vaccines and all other healthcare services. So there is the Facility Improvement Fund, and in the spirit of integration with the stop work order, we decided we have to be also innovative so that we are not found in the gutters. So there is blended financing, which is now adopting the PHC fund, where several health programs can be put together and they are funded together. Like KEMSA delivering health products to local facility, the counties can facilitate KEMSA to do that and also deliver hard stock for immunization, the syringes that are needed to the county. So blended financing, Facility Improvement Fund and PHC Fund are some of the innovative models, financing models that can be adopted.
In your observation, where does the system break down? Is it procurement, allocation, or it's a last mile delivery? Where is the breakdown?
The breakdown will become at the county. It's both allocation and release. The money can be allocated but not released. So it is on paper. Like
not implemented.
Yeah, not implemented. Like for example, a case in point, we work in Laikipia County. They have introduced an immunization budget line and allocated 1.5 million Kenya shillings towards immunization.
Yes.
To support the county logistician in charge of immunization to do service delivery to the community at the lowest level. That now becomes the challenge.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
You know, the civil society has consistently called for increased health financing. But what is the bigger issue? Is it how the current funds are being used?
Yeah, we can say it's how they're being used, but also the civil society comes from a point of understanding that Kenya is a signatory to international treaties. We have like the Abuja Declaration, which demands that we need to allocate at least 15% of our national budget towards health.
Yes.
We've not achieved that 24 years later. So
we are still lagging behind.
Yeah, we are almost at 7 or 8%.
Yeah.
The Abuja Declaration, which is 15%. So when civil society asks for increased funds towards healthcare, it comes from a point of concern and also accountability on why are we signing these international agreements, but we are not living to them. And also just to looking at the report that has come out from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics.
Yes.
You can see there is a report that SHA paid almost 159% of what it collected. Like the claims are more than what is collected. So increasing the fund, the healthcare budget, will also help bridge the gap. In the supplementary budget that the president ascended to early in March, he mentioned that he has allocated 4 billion towards the social health authority. So you can see it is an increase in budget directly diffuses to other healthcare sectors that may be headed on a support and are not now supported by the donors.
You know, I'm intrigued. When you look at the continental context, what do you think other countries are doing or getting it right that Kenya is not?
One, I will talk of our system of administration is devolved. So there are different centers of authority and command. And this comes in, you see President Ruto comes in with the better plan.
Yes.
At the county, the governor has his own plan. So also trying to adjust and fit into the national manifesto becomes a challenge.
So manifestos, the national and the county manifestos are not aligned.
Yeah, what the governor promised these people is not what the president has promised at the national. It creates a lot of miscommunication.
Yes.
And now you see rolling out of such programs even to the county becomes hard because the governor might not be able to adopt it, or they might do it because it's from the national. Also, we face the aspect of duplication of roles. You look at what the national is doing at the in health, look at what the county is doing, it's more or less the same. So maybe we just need to align. And also, there's so many funds. As a Kenyan now, these are, in my own opinion, if we had all these funds in a basket and plan for them very well, we will not be having a challenge in financing.
Consolidated in one fund.
Yeah.
So that it can go to whatever
we just know we are funding HIV program from the national, and this is the budget. These are the people that are taking ARVs from our healthcare facilities. This is the number of children we estimate to vaccinate in a year, and this is the budget we've allocated towards immunization. And this is the money we've allocated towards last mile delivery. It becomes that easy, in my thinking, as a Kenyan now.
Yeah. And from where is it a policy failure, or there lacks a political incentives problem? Is it a political incentive problem or a policy failure in some way?
We have the policies. The policies exist. I would agree with you. The political incentive, the goodwill now becomes a challenge because also now, and also the resource basket becomes smaller, especially for when it comes to counties that have migratory communities. The likes of Marsabit, Wajir, Isiolo, part of it. These counties have a challenge of raising revenue because one time this community, the guys are here, the next time they move to another location. So, and they're not engaging in any productive economic activity other than subsistence farming and just survival. So you find the resource basket for the counties become a challenge. And despite having the equalization fund, I think we need a policy on equalization fund and how it can help healthcare facilities in the country. Yeah.
And if we had, as a country, we had to prioritize one reform, what would that reform be to ensure that there is immediate improvement of immunization outcomes across the country?
Okay, one policy reform I would largely look at is increase the number of regional stores for vaccines. A case in point, we work in the county of Isiolo, and they get most of the regional stores in Isiolo, is in Meru, sorry. So getting the logistical support for the county to get the vaccines from Meru regional store to Isiolo is a challenge, and they are quite a distance from each other. So policy implementation when it comes to let's improve maybe if we are having a challenge with the power, we can solarize our cold chain stores to store vaccines, and also now improve outreach to lowest level in the community.
At what point do we start making hard decisions about which vaccines to prioritize?
I think we should not have a discussion on what vaccine to prioritize because all of them are very critical. At the moment, the government has introduced malaria vaccine, especially for Kisumu, Busia, Homa Bay counties because of the prevalence of malaria vaccine, and Kakamega. So it has been introduced into the immunization schedule. And also we have HPV that was administered to girls between the age of 9 to 14. There were 2 doses initially, but now it has been synchronized into 1. So the conversation around which one to prioritize, I would say no. All the vaccines are critical. The only aspect that we might need to look at is have good political will and also try to address the issues on vaccine hesitancy. Because there is a lot of misformation and misconceptions around vaccines. You would, I'm very sure you being in the media, you've heard about HPV. There were those misconceptions. It's used to sterilize girls. There are questions why only girls being vaccinated and not boys. So, but then the HPV is a vaccine that helps protect girls against cervical cancer. The men don't have. So just the dynamics around it. Maybe now, if there is a policy which is not really a policy change, is just have good political will, have ambassadors of immunization. let's talk about it as a life-saving measure, as a preventive health measure, other than looking at it as an emergency priority. Yeah.
You've talked about vaccine hesitancy and the misconceptions. When you look at it, is it the misconceptions or just lack of adequate information regarding vaccines?
Both. When you go to some places, it's just that people don't know. And then there are places where you go and there are these just theories that come online now with TikTok University. Social media has become another issue. There are those adverse effects. There are sometimes a child is immunized, there are those called adverse effects after immunization. Maybe there's high fever. To some extreme cases, there are deaths that are recorded. And then now when that is picked and it's taken on social media, you see people start consuming that. And it becomes like an issue also to support uptake. There was a campaign on against polio last year, if you remember, and it had a lot of challenges, especially for a county like Nairobi, where you would expect that people are exposed. So you find that there are those challenges that come with just the adverse effects that follow immunization, that come with fever or that, and then there is that misconception because it's targeted. For example, HPV is targeted for young girls. Now the questioning when it comes like, why only girls? And then you see parents will retract.
Yeah. All right. And let's come to policy and implementation. Of course, sometimes in the country we do have policies, especially when it comes to immunization. But do you think there are lags? We are lagging behind in terms of implementation, and why is that?
Yeah, we lag in implementation because as much as the Constitution says you have a right to health,
yes,
what has been the practice is even if the healthcare professionals go to churches or schools to vaccinate, you will see that the parents have to give consent. So as a policy issue, it lets the parent have a say on the life of the child, whether the child is to be immunized or not. So I think we just need to have a policy reform and say maybe we were in a meeting somewhere and one of the logisticians on immunization was proposing that maybe before children are admitted to class 1 or grade 1, they should have the fully immunized schedule. They should have that card to show that they are fully immunized, so that maybe we reduce the number of zero-dose children in the country. So it's not really a policy issue. It's a policy issue, and it's also just an understanding towards the value of immunization.
When you look at funding at the county level, should funding be conditional such that it's tied to a county's performance in how it's delivering its last mile immunization to the people?
Yeah, it should be. It should be conditional because different counties have different dynamics. So there are those in highlands that might need a lot of money to access the communities in those areas. So we need to really have that budget line towards immunization and ring-fence it. Ring-fencing means you are prioritizing it as a critical budget that needs to be expensed in the first quarter of the financial year, so that the teams working in the healthcare space are able to give services without those logistical interruptions.
Let's look at leakages, and this is with regard to financing. Where in the immunization financing chain is money most susceptible to inefficiency or misuse?
At the national level, it's very rare because the budgets are tied. Like you can see, we just have 2.6 for co-financing. So we just allocate 2.6 for co-financing and pay. Maybe at the county level is when the money is released, maybe now we might have an influx of ghost workers in terms of human resource. Maybe you might have healthcare facilities reporting on having more workers, which might not be the case.
When you look at accountability, do we have weak accountability when it comes to those areas of immunization financing? Is it the bigger threat than insufficient funding? Which is which?
At the national level, it is not really an issue of accountability. With the interactions we've had as an organization with members of parliament, it was a matter of understanding.
Yes.
So once we've engaged them and they understood the value of having the money, they are always the ones that are even the first ones to tell us we've budgeted for that and we've released that money. And it's a matter of knowledge. At the county level, maybe now it's also the gap that comes in with the county members of assembly. So it just needs also to intensify education around it and also ensuring that the accountability mechanisms are reinforced. Yeah.
And when you look at access and equity to immunization, who is at risk? Who is most at risk when it comes to when immunization financing falters? Is it the system as a whole or specific population? Who is at risk?
The ones that are at risk, I would say, are those that are in hard-to-reach areas, the underserved populations. Those ones are at highly risk. And the migratory communities we are talking about. Because now, when even the counties go for outreach, if you found them at point A today, you go for a follow-up. The next time when you're administering, you might find some of them are not there.
Yeah.
But then the counties and the regional focal persons on immunization have a default register. So they'll just register that this child was immunized on this date, but on the follow-up didn't show up. So what the challenge that we are having is the aspect of defaulter tracing. We are not able to trace the children that have missed immunization. And therefore, some of them will just grow.
Yeah.
Some will pass out, will pass on, and then there are those who will now live with disability. A case in point is Hennet works with the Honorable Bishop Kosgei.
Yes.
I think you know him. He's an immunization champion for Hennet. He's a champion because he lives with polio. He has the lived experience of polio. So when he talks about it and you see the level of disability he has, that rings a bell on how important the vaccine should be and how important as a country, maybe intergovernmental relations, just to ensure that we have defaulter tracing for children that miss immunization, especially those in underserved regions.
Yes. Yeah. And from where you sit, as a country, should we establish a legally protected immunization fund that should never be reallocated?
Very true. I will be very happy to have that, because initially in the last 2 financial years we've had vaccine stockouts. You've reported about it.
Yes.
And the issue was the delays in the government honoring the co-financing. And when we delay to pay the co-financing, the vaccines don't get to us. And now the expense also comes in when we get the vaccines after we've delayed to pay the co-financing. We now also start looking to borrow money from partners so that we can do a catch-up campaign.
Yeah.
And you see now it triples or doubles the budget.
Yeah.
So if we have a restricted fund where it is ring-fenced and we know purely this is for immunization, that will really work for the county and for the country and also for the counties.
But do you think we are bold enough as a country to restructure how immunization is financed, or we shall be just managing the decline?
There is goodwill, there is political goodwill. I have to appreciate the CS and the government for that. The issue now we have to talk about is at the moment what Gavi expects Kenya to be doing is Kenya pays a bigger percentage as Gavi reduces. So we should be at 70% while Gavi is paying 30%.
Yeah, because it's the other way around.
Yeah. So at the moment we are still on the same scale where we are paying 30, Gavi paying 70. So what we just need to do is continuous engagement and lobbying so that the ministry gradually increases the budget as Gavi reduces. And because now at the moment the immunization funds have been ring-fenced, they have been prioritized in the budget. I think when they increased, it is easier now for the treasury also to pay it out on time. And we have vaccines on time.
Once ring-fenced in the budget, should we go to on a path that brings us to ring-fencing immunization funding in law?
Yeah, if it is possible, if we have that legal pathway, it's a good way. So that
it would go a
long way in supporting.
And in terms of structural reforms, and this we are talking from a solution point of view, do we need to rethink the national and county split in how we deliver vaccines, especially the last mile delivery of immunization?
We don't need to, because at the end of the day, it's the county, it's the people in the county. So it's the county that understands its people. And they also have that data. We have developed, supported different counties like Kisumu, Kakamega, Isiolo to develop investment cases for immunization. So we have those indicators of which regions have high immunization rates, which ones are lower, and which one have the lowest number of zero-dose children, the highest number of zero-dose children, those who have not been immunized. So when we have the investment cases, I think taking it now to the executive at the county, they have been able to look at how critical that information is, and they are using that information now to slowly introduce immunization budget lines, increase it, and support the logisticians at the county to deliver vaccines. So the national, I would wish that they remain with the aspect of procurement, and also now supporting social behavior change. What we've talked about, hesitancy, cultural biases about vaccines, but then the counties remain purely with the delivery, because also the community health promoters work at the counties. So, and the community health promoter being in charge of, it's 100 households, so they really know which family has a newborn, and they can easily track, which might not be the case for the national.
For the national government, actually, because they are the people on the ground. And you know, what early signs should we be watching out to indicate that immunization coverage is beginning to go down?
We look at the reports. We have the Kenya Health Demographic Survey that gives the immunization scale in the country. We have UNICEF. Last year, when UNICEF released its report, showed that the number of zero-dose in the country had increased to 133,000. And that was alluded to the vaccine stockout that we had. So just looking at the reports that come from these credible sources, the government itself, the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, the KDHS will show the immunization indicators, and we are able to see if we are improving or we are not.
And which is more urgent? Is it the national reform on matters to do with immunization, or it's matters to do with county accountability?
Both are important, but now county accountability becomes critical, because if they come with the information, let's say 7 counties are reporting highest number of zero-dose children, those who have not been immunized, it must ring a bell at the national, and the national will have to look at an intervention. And because there are those intergovernmental relations between the national government and the Council of Governors, the Ministry of Health, and the Deputy President being in charge of the intergovernmental relations, they can be able to chart a solution.
And finally, what do you see as the future of immunization financing and policy within the country?
One is to tell everyone that children don't have a voice. We are the voice of the children, so we have to speak for them. And when it comes to policy, majorly is the ring-fencing, as we've said. Let us ring-fence the immunization funds. Let us have it increased so that when the donor leaves, we don't fill the gap, like what we felt with the stop work order early last year.
Alan,
yes,
that was our time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Asante sana.
Asante.
Alan Miheso is the programs officer at Health NGOs Network, and he has been talking about the immunization financing policy right here on Good Morning Kenya. And this is where this conversation ends, and the entire Good Morning Kenya. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Mike Miguel. Let's do this again tomorrow morning. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Thank you.
Oh, it's burning! Oh, that's burning! Oh, the purse! Grab a stick! It's dangerous! Quick! The purse!
Why do you want money so much lately?
To take care of you.
Why do you have to be so hard on yourself?
But learning a language is a long-term process. You need to put in the work. But by that time, you'll probably be too old.
Welcome back to Semana Spokes from Nagava.
Semana Spokes is the platform where Wananchi engage, query the government, and the government responds. It's your time to be informed. Don't miss Bonga Nagava every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Semana Spokes.
Tunajidai na lugha sanifu ya Kiswahili.
Leo twashiriki, njooni mwe na sisi. Sanaa ya Kiswahili leo imetufikia sisi.
Ni heri nikose usingizi baadaye kwa kuhitimu kimasomo.
Adhabu kali inapowekwa pahali popote pale husimama kama funzo kwa wahalifu wengine.
Unda majina mawili kutokana na vitenzi vifuatavyo. Ridhi.
Tunapata mridhi.
Tambua kishazi katika sentensi hii. Mbuzi walioibwa jana wamepatikana salama. Tambua kishazi. Naona Maria uko tayari.
Walioibwa.
Makinika, cheki wanafunzi wanavyozikwenda, utaona wengine wafanya hivi, wengine sijui wafanya hivi, wengine ni hapa hapa.
Drones are becoming increasingly important in warfare. But did you know that they're also used to fight drug cartels and illegal gold mining? Drones can gather information, can be armed, and are getting smarter through AI. In theory, they're already able to recognize and kill humans. The new possibilities and great risks of drones today on Shift. From filling up to heating to shopping, costs keep climbing, and these could be the reason why. In its war with Israel and the US, Iran is using swarms of affordable drones, also targeting energy infrastructure in the Middle East. But why is Iran using them, and what exactly can they do? After being attacked by Israeli and US aircraft, Iran has retaliated by targeting Israeli and American installations. But it's not stopped there, hitting hotels, ships, and oil facilities in neighboring Gulf states, often using swarms of these kinds of drones.